Akira.
He says he's got woke whiplash. Amazing.
Okay, and we are live. Welcome everybody back to the Progress Report. Or perhaps I should say, all right, my son. Is that how they do it in jolly old England?
Start quickly, get the digs in early. It's my boy LP. You can introduce your own show however you want. That was quite convincing. Well, I'll take it.
Thank you. I'm here with a man who needs no introduction, Chris Dangerfield, the man himself, the myth, the legend.
That made my girlfriend laugh when you said that. She laughed sarcastically.
No, how are you doing though? I'm super happy to have you here. I know we're gonna have a fun show.
I hope so. I mean, it's the crack of dawn here.
I was a little bit worried. I know what you guys get up to on Saturday nights there in Bangkok.
Well, Phnom Penh, please. The right country would be a good start. Hang on a minute, 1 second. Come here, see you later, darling. That's my boy LP.
Hello, Batman.
Hello.
Go on, you fuck off. I've got things to do, darling.
What a Chad. Just dabbing on the incels.
Right. No, I'll tell you, here's the problem, or maybe the solution. I go to bed like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. There's an element of my work being based in England, in the UK. So I'm a bit out of sync with them. So if I were to have a normal day here, I'd be working. Well, it would be weird, you know. Well,
the time differences are crazy. Between you and me, it's 15 hours, which is really awkward. I don't usually do streams this late at night, but you know, here we are. So let's rock it.
I haven't been up. I mean, it's 11 o'clock in the morning, which sounds like it's not early, but
yeah, really, up at the crack of noon. Poor Dangerfield.
I remember actually, in a similar vein to that comment, I remember. See you later, darling. I'll talk to you later. I remember. Daughter of Albion, I had her on as a guest, and we were talking about children, and we were waxing lyrical about the benefits of having kids and all the good things. And you blew my house of cards down when you put in the chat. It's always people without children talking about how great it is.
Did I do that?
Yeah.
I love her. I love Sarah. She's great.
Well, we don't talk anymore. We fell out. We fell out, and I don't know why.
Oh, really? I think she's just been like, because when I invited her on the show, and it took her like months to get back to me. So it might not be something personal, unless she said it was personal.
Well, we haven't spoken. We used to speak every day, and we haven't spoken for about 2 years. So I'm guessing I haven't made a mistake there. I have an idea. I have well, actually, it's an idea stroke confession. Because remember when I was last on one of your shows, it was the Sex Wars, is it called
yes.
that? Yeah. Now, I was watching some clips on my show, and I watched a clip from one of your Sex Wars. Not the one with me on it. That would be ridiculous. And your blonde co-host.
Annika.
There you go. And I stopped it and I went, she's lovely, isn't she? I'm an old lech. Let's just make that clear. I don't want to pretend. And I just went, look at her, though. What a beauty. And someone in the chat said, you've talked to her. You've been on the show with her. And I was like, eh? And I had no recollection. This does go back to Daughter of Albion.
Oh, you're watching it on stream.
Yeah, I had no recollection. And so this is what happened. I was having a bit of trouble sleeping, going to bed 4 or 5 in the morning, and it started moving to 6 or 7, and I was thinking, this is no good. So I went to the pharmacy, and out here there's no prescriptions. You don't need a prescription. You can literally get fentanyl ampules from a pharmacist. Now, I've got a history of drug abuse, you could call it, I suppose. But so I have to be careful around that sort of thing. But yeah, I thought I'll get a Valium. Just give me one night off. It's a ludicrous decision to make because I know what will happen. I'll take the Valium. It won't be medicine. I'll feel great and I'll stay up longer because I feel great. Well, I go to bed when this is lovely. That became quite regular as it tends to do in my history. And then one day I went to the pharmacy and I said, oh, can I have some more Valium? And they're only like $1 for 40. 10 milligrams is $1. And she said, oh, I haven't got any. Now, I could have walked 4 meters up the road to the next pharmacy and said, do me some diazepam. But she said, I've got some ampules. Now, the answer should have straight away. I should have said, no, that's ridiculous. But I didn't. I said, how much for 20? And so I started hitting those. And I thought I was getting away with it. I thought, this is all right. A little bit of a...
What is an ampule?
I literally just had a look around then. I thought, well, maybe...
Scattered all over the place.
Let me just check.
What is that? Yeah, what does that even mean?
It's a little bottle of liquid. A tiny little bottle of liquid.
Okay. And what do you inject it or?
Yeah, it's intravenous.
Yeah. Okay,
it's a liquid for intravenous. Well, you can get ampules for intramuscular. I suppose steroids go intramuscular. Anyway, so I thought I was getting away with it. Now this is how much I didn't get away with it. One day I realised that I'd stopped my channel. I thought, why have I ended my YouTube? I mean, I've been doing YouTube 6 or 7 years, and I made an announcement saying, I'm not doing it anymore.
I remember you. I saw that announcement. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember making that decision. So I just with the problem with benzos, one of the many problems, in fact, and probably one of the lesser problems, chemically, you cannot make memories. That ability is what would be the word? Well, you can't make memories. That's enough. I've forgotten the word. But everyone in the chat was sort of like, yeah, you not only did you announce your show's finished, you also said you were going to get your best mate on as your co-host, and that would never work. Me and him argue all the time, not in a funny, entertaining, oh, look at these two. No, in a hateful, immature way. And then someone in the chat said, yeah, you fell asleep halfway through a stream. And I was like, come on, I'll take the the digs. If I make a mistake, I'll take it. But I never fell asleep. They linked me to it, and I had to watch myself literally going down. Yeah, shocking. Had no memory of that whatsoever. And I think that Sex Wars stream, I haven't done the calendar maths with this, but I think it might have been during that period.
Oh, I didn't really notice it. Like you were fine as far as I could tell during the stream. It was fine. Yeah, there you go. Fully, what's the word? Functional.
Well, it certainly wasn't in the end. You get a period of functionality, but then you get that's the problematic bit is that illusion of functionality that you get in between functionality and living on the street. But luckily, I caught myself out, thought, hang on, this is stupid, and sorted myself out. So yeah, but yeah, I thought it only fair to tell you.
No, that's good. And that actually, you never did bring that back to Daughter of Albion, but I guess you're just saying that maybe something happened during that.
Well, no, I actually hadn't considered that. Sarah. We never had that kind of relationship, thankfully. She was just a friend. It was nice to have a female friend. I don't have a lot of female friends. And she used to stream with me a couple of times a week, and it was all lovely. And we used to talk all the time. But I lost, I was streaming to 400 or 500 people a day, and it went down to it's about 120 now. And a lot of people just went, "Nah, I'm done." And understandably, I get that. I get that. It wasn't a great message, and that is when she sort of disappeared as well.
Yeah.
So I see. Yeah. Consequences. You can do anything you want in life. I think you really can, but you've got to deal with the consequences, whether they be positive, negative, or neutral.
True. And words of wisdom.
There was a lot of negative consequences came out of that. So,
yeah, well, at least you're past that now. Now, I don't know if you know about this show here, the Progress Report, but what we actually do is we watch video clips, and then we're going to talk about the clips.
Because I ripped it off. I stole the format, so I'm very, very aware.
Yeah, well, I mean, the clips are degenerate, generally speaking, so I think you're at least keeping with the theme.
Steady. Hey, LP, I was on JF Gary Appy's show. He asked me to come on. I thought I'm a weird guest for his show.
Yeah,
no, I can't remember exactly, but I agreed. I thought
the public space.
Yeah, that's it.
No, he changed it. No, JFG Tonight.
I think that in those days it was the public square, the public space. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But anyway, he said, "Come on, give me a date and all that." And I've turned up, and unbeknownst to me, until it went live, the show was called something like "The Horrendous Negative Spiral of Chris Dangerfield's Life."
Whoa, JF did you dirty.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's funny. That's pretty funny, I got to admit. Okay, so we're going to get to the video clips. I did have something I wanted to talk about quickly, and I know you're not in a huge rush here. We got a little bit of time today, right? We can enjoy ourselves.
Yeah, no, it's Sunday morning for me, and I'm good.
Yeah, so this is something, because I usually do a stream on Saturdays, at least when I can, called The Daily Cope, where I talk about things that have happened that are interesting to me. And I didn't get a chance to do one today. I had too many errands to run, but I wanted to bring up this thing between Destiny and Mr. Girl. Do you know who Mr. Girl is?
No, I do not. I've missed this one. Damn.
Okay, so Mr. Girl, he's the cuties guy. If I say that, does that mean anything to you? He made the review. Yeah, okay. He gained a large following after being on a whole bunch of Destiny streams. So he's like a full-time streamer now. And he got banned from YouTube, but he was polling like a solid like 800 plus people on his live streams before he got banned. Now he has like his own website. Anyway, so Destiny like put him on the map, and now he's turned on Destiny and is trying to prove that Destiny sexually exploits like young, naive Twitch streaming women and stuff like that. The reason this is like funny to me is because I had Destiny on Sex Wars. Him and me and Annika had a conversation, and I brought up this clip of him saying that he like has sex with these Instagram thotties or whatever, or these like Twitch streamers who are like really sexual and how they sort of portray themselves, you know, these women who like exude sexuality. But that when he sleeps with them, they're really like boring. They just starfish and they don't even seem to want to get off and this and that. And in this clip, he says that and he's like, I don't get it. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And so I said to him, I said, Destiny, maybe it's these women are interested in you for something other than the sex, right? Maybe they think you have something to offer them in terms of like exposure or whatever, you know, that you can like boost their Twitch careers. Now, Destiny's response was to say, that's a really cringe line of argumentation, and I'm just going to ignore it. And I let it go. I let it go. I didn't like sit there and argue because kind of you hear that everybody knows it's true. You know what I mean? There's no point to even argue it, right? I just let it go. Now, one of these girls, like Max claims he has one or two victims that have come forward, and there was screenshots posted of this girl having a conversation with like another Twitch streamer where she was saying, why do you do that? Why are you sexting with Destiny? And she was saying, I don't know. He's kind of manipulative. And she's like, well, why don't you just say no? And then the girl, the Twitch streamer said, I think I'm scared that if I don't do what he wants, he's going to like hurt my Twitch career. Like literally the exact same thing that I was saying to Destiny. Maybe this is what's happening. Now, Max is claiming that makes Destiny an abuser. Personally, I wouldn't go that far. I don't think that exploiting your status to take advantage of women, I wouldn't call it abuse. It's not good, but I wouldn't go as far because abuse sounds really bad.
Abuse sounds ridiculous in this instance. That's what men do, isn't it? You use your status.
Yeah. That's why you get status as a man. That's why you pursue it. I mean, some men who are less mature than me. You know, I've moved beyond all that now. I'm a happily married man. I don't engage in these kinds of seedy things, but. Yeah, I wouldn't call it abuse. It is funny though, because Destiny, another contention we had on Sex Wars was he was saying that if you tell your child, like let's say like a 6 or 7 year old child, that if you tell them they shouldn't masturbate, that's child abuse. Destiny thinks it's child abuse if you tell a kid not to jerk off. At any age at all. So, you know, the whole thing is just kind of funny and silly. Yeah.
I mean,
anyway.
in England, telling your children not to masturbate is actually when young boys hold their genitals, mothers will say, "You keep playing with that, it will fall off," which I think is kind of a cultural way of trying to stop them from masturbating.
Yeah, or you'll go blind. That's a classic, you know. Anyway, it's nonsense. The idea that it's abuse is total nonsense. But let's get into some clips. I see a few people in the chat are kind of chomping at the bit to watch some video clips. So before we get into that, today's video is sponsored. I totally almost forgot, but today's video is brought to you by our friends at Noble Gold. Things are getting tough out there. Inflation's at 8.2%. And it's just getting worse. And we're not all great with money, are we? At times like these, you need a trusted partner to look after you and make sure you'll be okay. Noble Gold is the team you want on your side. Keep your money safe and get an incredible free 3-ounce silver American Virtue coin when you open your qualifying IRA account over $20,000. Call 877-646-5347 to find out more or visit noblegoldinvestments.com. Okay. Yeah, so there you go. So, you know, don't fall for these crypto scams. Put your money in something real, like solid gold bullion. All right, let's get to the video clips here. Where's my thing there?
Was
Here we
that
go.
your advert? Is that it? You
Biggest
just say
problem.
that?
No, I played a video for that 30 seconds of silence. I had a
Oh,
video
okay.
playing for the audience. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, that's the ad. Yeah. Don't be a sucker, buy gold. All right. Let's see what Jordan Peterson is up to.
That I can see is that the large online platforms allow anonymous troll demons to rampage through society with no cost to themselves. And I can identify these people quite accurately now. This will make a number of the people who are watching and listening uncomfortable because they'll be in the list of people who do this sort of thing. So the first thing is they have an anonymous name. The second thing is the anonymous name usually has something psychologically significant about it in a very negative direction. So it's self-denigrating, or it's demonic, or it's otherwise offensive, and purposefully so. And then the people who are utter cowards, likely to be narcissists and Machiavellians, resentful people sitting in their basement at home, dwelling on their misery and doing everything they can to spew toxicity out into the world. Alone in their bedrooms, they're just isolated people who aren't causing any trouble. But as soon as they multiply themselves millions of times using this incredible, powerful computer technology, they're not even human anymore.
Did you know you can multiply yourself using the internet? These demonic trolls are literally cloning themselves.
In my estimation, they're literally a demonic force. And I mean that in a technical sense, right? You and I aren't exactly you and I in this conversation because we're amplified hundreds of times or thousands of times or hundreds of thousands of times. And so we're not just human, we're androids in some sense operating in a virtual space. And these online trolls have that power because they have access to an audience that they would never gather by their own merits. They are saying things that are derisive and inflammatory and that would absolutely 100% get them punched if they ever said it in public. Imagine.
Okay. I
like
mean,
the idea of Jordan Peterson just out on the street looking for these demonic trolls. I warned you. I told you about that.
It's like there was that Kevin Smith movie. I always thought it was actually really funny. The Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back, where the Kevin Smith and his friend, the characters, they make a movie and then it's getting like shat on the internet. All these people are leaving comments and they fly to everybody's house and like knock on the door and just like punch them when they open the door. It's actually a really funny idea. But I will say this. Jordan Peterson says that these demonic trolls wouldn't have an audience if if it wasn't for like the going into comment sections or whatever and like just using other people's audiences. And I don't know that that's necessarily true because anybody who is acting in the way that he's saying, if you tried to like make videos and stuff like that, you just get banned. You know what I mean? So
it did stand out. I'm not sure he's necessarily right about that bit. Russell Brand looked very uncomfortable there. I mean, I've got a lot of dirt on Russell Brand.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean,
you guys ran in the same circles, huh? The UK comedy.
I was a comedian for about 10 years, but yeah, it's stuff I mean,
a lot of Russell Brand's dirt is kind of well known, isn't it?
No, trust me, it isn't. It will come out though, but I mean, he looked very awkward when you suddenly saw him then, because I think he was realizing that he's been party to the kind of behaviors that Jordan Peterson was talking about there. I mean, I'm talking about Russell really rather than Jordan Peterson here, but he's a blagger, Russell Brand. He follows the money, doesn't he? His channel always has. He looked a bit uncomfortable there. I think he knew that Jordan Peterson actually sometimes, occasionally, and profoundly makes sense, and Russell tends not to.
I don't like watch Russell Brand, so I don't have like a strong opinion. But what do you think about here's the thing. I kind of get where JP is coming from. Like it gets under my skin every now and then when people are talking shit about me. and you're just like who are you? Like you came to me, and now you're shitting all over me, and just like literally, who the fuck are you? Like post physique, post your face, post your bank account, post your job, post your address. I know it's like cringe to admit that, but I do feel that way sometimes. You know what I mean? So I kind of understand where he's coming from, but at the same time, the anonymity is too precious to get rid of, you know.
I'm sort of with you on that, but yeah, I think the internet was great when you could just be anonymous on nearly every platform. It was a very different space, and because of that, but I've got a couple of blokes who they're mental. They take stories from my stand-up and tell people it as if it was something I did in life. And it's like, hang on a minute, that's a joke, because in the interview you've got it from, I talk about that as being a bit, but they'll just cut that bit out and say some awful
stand-up comedians, they don't, every story they tell isn't real.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
I mean, but they even lie to their own audience. We done this thing on my stream where I said to everyone, we've done a few things like this, like community building things. And I said, right, let's do one where you all send in pictures of you when you were a teenager, you know, when you've got a shell suit on and a haircut you regret. I'll put them on the screen. We try and work out who they are, and then we laugh at whoever it is. Someone in the chat said, can we send pictures of us as kids? And I said, well, you can send pictures of you as a kid, but what I'm really after is cringe sort of, you know, teenage photos when you were wearing ridiculous clothes.
Yeah, I got a few of those.
Yeah, of course. I've got ones with me with dreadlocks. But some bloke cut about 8 seconds, and I think the video was called something like "Nonce Dangerfield is at it again." And the bit I said was, you can send photos of you as a child. That was it. That was the clip. And there's all these comments, the absolute filth, this bloke should be burned. Really? Okay. Thanks.
So we agree the anonymous troll demons should all die.
Imagine that there's a hierarchy of unconstrained people, and there's a variety of people who are very unconstrained, but in normal social discourse would be able to keep themselves under control because of the controls that are there in normal social discourse. You lift those controls and they just go off. And so that's what we're seeing online. And that has to be stopped. I think the large tech companies should be required to put in know your customer laws. They should ban anonymous accounts.
So a lot of people are...
Yeah, see, that's way too far.
Yeah.
Even though I understand the frustration, that's just a bad idea.
Yeah, the thing is, he's calling for censorship, essentially, isn't he? And that's weird from Jordan Peterson. He's not making a great major point, is he? If you're anonymous, you can say stupid things. Oh, okay,
right.
I get that. Yeah. But yeah, I don't go along with that final bit. That's just a bit silly. It goes with the territory, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, JP's just a little too sensitive, right? That's why he starts crying in every interview he does now, right? So it gets under my skin a little bit. I think it gets under his skin a lot, and he just like thinks that shouldn't be allowed. But
well, you
kind of got to just get a thicker skin at a certain point, right?
I've got a theory on Jordan Peterson's crying a lot. Now, he got on alprazolam, which brand name Xanax. I think it's the second most abused drug in the US after all the oxycodone, oxycontin.
Yeah, I knew a Xanax girl.
A Xanax girl. Is that something you can search for?
I just coined that right now, but I think it's self-explanatory.
Yeah, weirdly, I've known a few myself. But when he got on them, he said that he had a thing that the doctors call a paradoxical response, right? Now, what that means is weirdly exactly what I said about the diazepam when I said to you, it won't make me sleep. I'll feel great and I'll stay up all night. That's what a paradoxical response on benzos is. Now, that doesn't happen to people who aren't carrying loads of unresolved trauma. You know, I've got friends who'll have a Xanax and they'll be asleep in 5 minutes. They're gone. Whereas I will take more and stay up all night and just keep eating them. So Jordan's paradoxical response just says to me that he's got loads of unresolved trauma. He loved the fact that he took a chemical that give him a bit of peace from that. And he still hasn't come out with how we got off it. And I don't think he's off it. He said he went to he went all around the world trying to find a rehab that would treat him. No, he went all around the world to find a place that would agree to his maintenance script. That's what I think's actually happened. I think he's still on them. I think he's probably tapering. And when you taper on benzos, you are very, very emotional. And that's why I think we're getting a lot of these tears.
Wow, interesting theory.
I mean, I've had it myself. When you're withdrawing from benzos or opiates, you know, a classic one was once I was coming off of heroin, and there was a packet of biscuits in the house, and on the side it had a drawing of a bloke with what would it be called? Like a plough, you know, from sort of like 300 years ago, but only a drawing. Yeah. And I remember looking at it and thinking, look at him with his, you know,
he's living the life.
Yeah, his wholesome work plan.
Yeah,
exactly, little drawing. I thought he probably
must go back, return.
There you go. And I just thought, I'm a
started crying.
Modern mess. I'm a postmodern failure.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. You know, I saw a funny comment go by too, where somebody said, "Can you get over-the-counter Xanax in Australia or not?" Which made me laugh because I think the implication is that they think you are an Australian and in Australia.
Amazing.
Yeah. Okay, let's continue.
Waking up to the reality that we are being farmed in this.
Yeah, a lot of people are just now waking up to this. But what if I told you there's a group of people who've been awake far longer than you and me? And what if I told you that that group of people is actually the most highly educated demographic in our nation? And what if, I know it seems too good to be true, but hold on. What if I told you that they already have a plan and that it happens to be better than the 3-step plan that you've laid out? I'm not saying I'm not here for the revolution. I'm here for it. I support the liberation. I'm just saying, what if the revolution actually starts by listening to the voices of those most oppressed and not those who just woke up?
Want to know?
Wow. Is she on her first ever trip? What a peculiar way of presenting an argument. I don't know what she's talking about, I'll be honest.
I was just about to ask, do you even know what she's saying? So I can decode that for you. She's saying that this guy was like, oh, we're being farmed. And she came in to say, well, black women know this and they've been saying this. And the solution is for everybody to just listen to black women. That's what she was saying. And she said that they are the most educated demographic in America, which is more true than you might think. I don't know that they're like the number one. Oh, well, here's an article from 2020 that says black women are the most educated group in the US. So it's a talking point that is out there. They get, and I'm sure there's some truth to it, black women get degrees at high rates, according to this study. So that's what she was saying. She was saying like, why are you talking, white man? We need to listen to black, which is funny because she's a white woman too. Like, it's like, why are you talking? But it's like, you're allowed to talk as long as you're doing it to praise black women.
Well, when Malcolm X, wasn't it? The biggest threat to black people is white liberals, and that is encapsulated in that little clip there. Hang on a minute, my girlfriend. Stop it, please. Bye, darling. I'll see you later. I don't know, just weird, peculiar.
It is weird. That's
just
exactly
say what you want to say.
Weird. Yeah.
How do you know that's what she's talking about? Because you've watched it repeatedly.
I just know, man. This is what I do. This is just what I do. All right, let's check this one out.
How you feel about letting your husband cheat?
Okay, so the PC answer is that if he does step out, that's a reflection upon myself because I am most likely not putting out or I've given up on my looks. My real answer is, as long as I don't know, I can't be mad, can
I? I really want to love people. I really want to like humans, regardless of their IQ and anything else. But they make it difficult, don't they? I mean,
well, that's a short clip, and there's a lot happening in a short amount of time. Like the first thing is she says the PC answer, which means the politically correct answer to how should you feel about your husband cheating on you? That's the question, right? And she says the politically correct answer is it's my fault for making him need to do that, which I'm not sure that's the politically correct answer. First of all, I'm not sure if the feminists would sign off on that one. I think the politically correct answer is more just like it's wrong to cheat and you shouldn't do that. But then she says, but my real answer is like, I don't care as long as I don't know, which is also bad. And we can get into that briefly, but the ultimate take about this video is that this is kind of have you heard the term pick me girl?
No, this is up there with Xanax girl for me.
Yeah. So this is like a concept of like, if a woman goes on the internet and is like, it's often applied to the kind of trad wife or the trad thought. So if a trad thought gets on the internet and is like, I'm just gonna like make sure live for my husband and do all his dishes and make sure he has a nice house to come home to and take care of him and this and that and that. They call that a pick me girl because it's like you're saying pick me to all the men. You know what I mean? Like it's a denigrating term that they use.
But it seems odd that it's considered a pejorative, though. I'll be a good wife.
Right, exactly. It is in that context. It is weird. There's nothing wrong with being a good wife. You're exactly right. However, this is that going to the extreme where you're saying, I'll even let you cheat on me.
Yeah. Yeah,
you're trying too hard now. It's coming off a little bit desperate at this point. You're trying too hard. And also that logic of like, if I don't know, like you could apply that to like, that's like if my husband goes out and murders somebody, it's fine as long as nobody knows. You know what I mean? If a tree is immoral in the forest, but nobody sees it, is it actually immoral? Like, yes, actually, it's still bad whether you know about it or not.
So she's more of a pick me quickly girl. She knows her biological clock's ticking, and it's like, I'll put up with anything, please.
Yeah, I mean, she is married. As far as I know, this is kind of like she's got a YouTube channel, and this is kind of her content. It's like trad thought.
I bet her husband watched that
extreme, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Got on his phone. Yeah, I'm up for it after all.
Yeah, exactly.
does step out, that's a reflection upon myself because I am most likely not putting out or I've given up on my looks. My real answer is, as long as I don't know, I can't be mad, can I?
Mr. Fetterman. Mr. Fetterman,
Yeah,
you need any help?
I'm running for the U.S. Senate, kid. I need all the help I can get.
You're running for Senate?
Sure.
Where's your suit and your flag pin and your hair?
Oh, hey, kid.
I just want you to know I'd vote for you.
Hey, thanks, kid.
You want a drink?
Nah, no.
Really, you can have it.
Okay. Thanks.
See you around.
Hey, kid. Catch.
Wow, thanks, Mayor John.
These campaigns, they spend like tens of millions of dollars on these campaigns, by the way. I would be amazed if the cost of like making that video was less than like $300,000 or something. Like, you would think, why? How would it cost money? It's literally like a fucking iPhone and a script that you could improvise. It's so bad and this and that. But it's like I'm sure it costs like a ton of money. They just burn through it, these politicians. He's elected, by the way. He won.
Yeah, I know. It's
he's a senator. He's a U.S. senator now, that guy. Old John Fetterman.
When you say about that costing money, there was a video maybe 3 years back. I don't know that. I'll just pick that out the air. And it was one of the Nordic countries. You probably saw it. And it was 3 women and a couple of blokes. A terrible sort of bit of music, and they were going, "No, don't touch me there. This is
my no-no square, of course, right. Classic. YCSP certified hood classic."
Yeah, and it was telling immigrants that you're not allowed to touch me in this area here, right? But that video was rumored to have cost about $2 million, and people were saying to me, "Well, how did that cost $2 million?" Well, I think there is an answer. I think they go to a top ad agency or marketing company, and the marketing company put their research in, and they come out the end saying, you don't want a slickly produced advert that looks like a Chanel cologne advert. You want to look like it's an internet video, a meme. You know, you want to make it look like it was shot on an iPhone, blah, 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 blah. So that, so that the kids, the internet kids will, they'll engage with it. And I think that's why it probably cost $2 million. Also, the marketing
plus they overpay for everything, right? Like government contracts, they just overpay for everything because it's not their money.
But that when I was watching that, then I was waiting for the joke. It seemed so ridiculous and comical. I thought it was.
The joke is right here. Do you want to hear the joke?
Go on. Oh no!
What's a jagoff?
I'll tell you when you're older.
Oh my gosh! Devon Tracy said that he wouldn't even have Fetterman look after his dog.
No, seriously though, why? That's true. That's actually true. The man is just a bumbling retard. I don't know if you caught it either. The kid was wearing a shirt that said "Trump is a jagoff," which is like
I've never heard that word. Is it a well-known?
It's like a jagoff. It just means like whatever, asshole.
Okay.
Or stupid asshole, whatever. They're still using Trump to get elected, and it's still working.
Well, I was absolutely blown away by the midterms. I just thought, the Democrats have got nothing to run on apart from Trump derangement syndrome. They've wrecked America in record time. They can only run on don't vote for the others. That's all they've got. And I thought
they did have abortion.
Yeah, in fairness, they did.
Tangible thing.
But if you're only running on killing kids, it's not great, is it?
Well, you would think, and actually, there's still quite a lot of people who still think that we need to be masking up and shit like that. There's the branch Covidians or whatever you want to call them. There's still quite a lot of people like that out there, surprisingly.
Yeah, it's very worrying. Oh, did you hear? Devon got his channel back.
For like 5 minutes, and then he lost.
Oh, it went again?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I never thought I would see him get it back, and so he got it back. He put out a video, and then they banned him again for hate speech, not because of his video, but they just your severe violations of our hate speech policy.
It's ridiculous. I imagine people just piled on, didn't they? The people that reported him the first time.
Yeah, I wonder if like being attached to Gavin had anything to do with it. Because that's like working for Darth Vader basically. But who knows? It's very.
Who'd have thought Devon Tracy would have been a Proud Boy?
was at a community event in the Bronx in Co-op City. And when I get home, I see a text from my team saying, hey, let me know if you need any help with this Elon stuff. And I was like, what? So I pull up my Twitter app, and it's like gone. Like when you pull up your mentions and stuff like that, it's just like literally like a blank screen, totally gone. And I was like, that's weird. So it turns out we got under a certain little billionaire skin.
I mean, I've seen that before. She belongs to a class of people that I've never met. I don't know people who are like that. And it's almost like science fiction for me watching that. I've got no references for that kind of behavior. The arrogance, the nibbling at her bit of chicken, the way she's like Cleopatra dropping it.
It's funny you say that because it's never occurred to me, but you're right. I've never met somebody like that in real life. I don't know people like that.
No, imagine turning up at your mate's house and she went, hi, have you heard? You're like, whoa, what's happening? Yeah, shocking. What a bizarre creature.
Yeah, what struck me about that clip was it seems like she's clearly making an implication that Elon Musk turned off her Twitter mentions. And at least that's how it came across to me. I can't say for sure, but it's like obvious that it's just like the app like bugged out because because like a Musk tweet replied, and then there's so many notifications that when she tried to load it, it just bugged out. You know, I'm a web developer, so I kind of understand how these things work. And like probably if she had just like reloaded the app, it would have worked or whatever. But she kind of like makes this little video where she's like implying that like Elon Musk went into his like admin portal and was like, turn off AOC's, turn off her mentions so she can't read her notifications. And I can't tell if she's literally like that untech savvy, or she's just being dishonest, or maybe she's not trying to say that. Maybe she's just saying that because he replied, she got so many mentions. I don't know, but that's how it read to me.
Did she say at the end, it seems like we got under some tech billionaire's skin?
Yeah, she says we got under his skin. So that's the part that to me implies she's saying that he turned off her mentions, as opposed to just the app bugged out, which I don't know about. I guess you're not really on Twitter, or are you?
I rejoined it actually when Elon took over. I thought I'll give it a go. I mean, it's been
pretty buggy over the last couple of weeks. Like I get that thing where the tweets don't load a lot and you have to hit the retry or whatever.
I haven't used it enough to notice anything like that. I had a very successful Twitter that I built up during my stand-up. But once they started closing down bank accounts and things like that, I thought, you said too much on Twitter. So I deactivated it, and every 14 days I'd activate it and then deactivate it. So when I release my novel, I can quickly go live, tell all those people that it's out. But one weekend during the diazepam period, I forgot to reactivate it and lost about 12,000. I've now got 300, and it hurts. It hurts.
Drugs will do that to you.
What is wrong with you? No, I didn't even car. Get out of here, No, get off you, man. Fuck you. You must get fucked up. You must get for your safety. For your safety.
So these videos, we're about 2 weeks behind from the week that these clips are from. So that's just a Halloween costume, right? That's just a guy who showed up to a bar on Halloween dressed as a Nazi. And I don't know why people take shit so seriously. You know what I mean? Like they're like threatening to like fight him. They kick him out of the bar. It's like, dude, it's Halloween.
Absurd.
I'm not really a Nazi, guys. It's Halloween. It's a costume. Like, I don't get it, man. Why do people take everything so seriously?
I mean, what are they actually? They think he's a Nazi, or is just joking about being a Nazi.
Yeah, I think they just think it's inflammatory, which I get. I mean, maybe it is, but
no, it's not. No, you're giving
there was a time when making a very offensive Halloween costume was considered like just something that you do. You know what I mean? Like that was part of as an adult. You keep the fun factor of Halloween alive by making, if you're a woman, a super slutty costume, and if you're a man, something that's just ridiculously offensive.
I mean, Halloween, it's a very different thing in England, and it did change. Like 1 year, it just changed. It became the very Americanized. But all I saw was sort of like prostitutes with a little bit of blood coming out of their mouth. That became the female Halloween costume. But with the sort of intersectional thing, a Halloween costume in a few years' time will be the clothes you wear. You'll only be allowed to represent your own actual demographic.
Yeah, really. Yeah, there was some other clips. I didn't include them all in today's video, but there was like a woman who was dressed up as an Indian, like a Pocahontas, a white woman. Oh, heaven forbid! And somebody was giving her the business as well. Oh, someone said my volume is low. I'm a little bit far off the mic. I'll try to get a little bit.
I do tend to shout, though. I'm just trying to imagine what the feeling in that bar was like afterwards. Once the adrenaline had died down a bit, they were all like, yeah.
That's right. They sent him packing, just like their grandfathers did at Normandy.
The Hun has gone.
But we cannot sit here and say there are only two genders in this country because that's what the model has been. We know that before Europeans came and stole all of this motherfucking land, that Native American tribes, not all of them, but some of them, did not adhere to these ideas of gender. So I asked him, where are you getting your information from? And he said, doctors. I said, that's interesting because gender doesn't have to do with the body. He was confused. So hopefully when we revisit this conversation during the gender lesson, he'll rethink his statement.
It's incredible that these people are always so lucky in life that they manage to run into these conversations that prove their ideological point. That never happened. These things, if you're making a video in a car, that conversation didn't happen. I think that's
probably a pretty good rule of thumb. But this person's a teacher, right? So they're talking about like an interaction with a student. Fake, I agree, but there's still a lot of funny stuff going on here. I mean, first of all, the whole like Native American two-spirit thing is total bullshit. I've looked into the anthropological records on this, and I've been meaning to do a video. I haven't gotten around, but I've done a lot of research on the topic, and I guarantee you this woman doesn't know what she's talking about. And if I was to just be like, well, you know that it was like actually a derogatory term back then. Like the term two-spirit didn't, the word that they used was like bardoche or something like that, which meant like rent boy, which was a word. Literally that's what it meant. And it was because they had found in some tribes some like rare cases of Native American men who were like extremely feminine and gay. And they had a derogatory term for them. and that like has been retconned in history now to be like, oh, the natives always were free of the gender binary and this and that. It's like, imagine if there's like a nuclear war, right? And mankind is like wiped out, but some people like survive under caves, and they come out like 1,000 years later and they find like a protest sign from the Westboro Baptist Church. It's like God hates or that's like faggots or whatever. And they're like, oh, look, they used to like honor and worship gay people or whatever. It's so crazy. It's so, it's funny.
Well, what does me about there's a lot that does me about these teachers, but when I was at school, and it's going back a while, but you didn't even know your teacher's first name. Mm-hmm. It was Mr. Pay or Mrs. whatever, and I remember we found out one of our teachers' names, someone let it slip once, and we all thought it was hilarious that we'd got a view into their life outside of their role as teacher.
Right.
And you've got all these, the amount of these I see okay, so I came out to my class today. You're like,
talk about sexuality.
My kids now know that I like it up the arse. Good for you. That's
they're just so desperate for like validation, and this whole ideology is so basic. Any asshole can learn the basic tenets of like gender ideology in like 10 minutes, but they act like it's this fucking awesome like knowledge that they have that they're gonna teach you about, like kind of like look down on you and be like, let me educate you on gender. It's like, this is the most basic, easy to understand shit, and none of it is based in reality. So shut up. That's it. That's how you respond to somebody talking about gender ideology right there. I don't even know what that clip is. I don't know what the context of it, but I mean, I laughed so hard the first time I saw that.
Good work. I've got nothing to say on it.
I read a poll just yesterday that white Republican suburban women are now going to vote Republican.
Okay. She just said white Republican suburban women are going to vote Republican. And the first time I saw this clip, I thought she must have misspoke. She meant to say white women are going to vote Republican, but she was thinking Republican, and so she said Republican. But you're going to see that she didn't actually misspoke. I just want to play it again so people can hear that.
I read a poll just yesterday that white Republican suburban women are now going to vote Republican.
So just to read it, I thought she misspoke the first time I heard that, but because why wouldn't you expect Republican women to vote Republican? Let's keep going and see what else she said.
Why? It's almost like roaches voting for Raid, right?
I think
they're voting.
No, it's
White women are cockroaches, by the way. That's the analogy there. Oh, sorry, I leaned back off the mic again.
They're voting against their own self-interest. Do they want to live in Gilead?
Okay, so do we love
in the hands?
Do we love democracy or not? Because
Gilead is the Handmaid's Tale, I believe. They really love that one.
Just saying that it's insulting to the voter. People make up decisions on what's right for their family, and the idea that you should have a say for everyone else's vote.
The fact that women are voting against
you had a different view on abortion not that long ago, and you
I have that view.
But that issue is right. But then why is another woman not able to have a different view?
That white Republican suburban women are voting.
See, she repeats it.
Incredible that no one, when she first said it, said, "Oh, hang on, I think you misspoke." They just went. Yeah. They weren't listening.
So she repeats it. It's just like, well, they're Republican women. It's in the name. They probably think that killing babies is wrong. That's probably where they're coming from. It's like, it doesn't, your self-interest, whatever. Like, maybe we should legalize murder for profit, because it would be in our self-interest to go around killing people and taking their money. It's like, there's a little more to it than that, lady.
Hey! Hey, dude, hold on, man, hold on. Hey, man, hold on.
I don't know what that's from. It could be fake. It could be like a TV show for all I know. But I want to believe that it's real. That the guy was filming because they were filming the prank of the plant, and then the guy slapped the plant, and then the plant guy punched the other guy. It's all real. I want to believe.
When we were kids, there used to be like people would dress up in those like Mr. Wimpy things, those big sort of costumes.
Yeah.
And we realised
hair or whatever.
We were only about sort of 9 or 10, but we realised that they have this tiny little viewing area that is only a head, and we'd just get behind them and just start spinning them or pushing them over, and hours of entertainment. So I kind of appreciate the fact that he'd give him a slap there. But, he reacted, didn't he?
It can always turn around.
Have you read Infinite Jest by David Foster Wallace?
I have. It took me like a year, but I made it through.
I mean, it essentially, for people who haven't, it's a book about leisure and entertainment. And, you know, this, look, it's just so sad.
Dystopian, isn't it? I mean, it's yeah, exactly. It's just kind of soul crushing. These people are zombies, you know.
Well, and you know, they're part of that system. You know, their humanity has been removed. The machine in front of them, and they've just linked. They're linking. They've become like a financial institution of themselves. They're linking privately owned money into a different privately owned account by just sitting in the machine.
Someone in the chat said they're just some grinding gamers, just on that gaming grind. Yeah.
Have you heard of the Japanese game Pachinko?
I think so, but
it's like
Tiddlywinks or some shit.
No, it's
wait, Tiddlywinks is when you like throw a knife in between your feet, or what is?
No, that's
what am I thinking of?
Tiddlywinks is the
Mumbledy Peg. That's what I was thinking of.
Tiddlywinks is two plastic discs, and you press one, and it flips the other one. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. No, Pachinko. I can see the link. It's got a similar couple of letters, but Pachinko is apparently gambling is illegal in Japan. So they've made these machines where you play for ball bearings. And you just keep throwing the money in, and you win ball bearings if certain things come up, or a certain few things happen. The noise in these pachinko halls is ridiculous. Each one will have like 1,000 pachinko machines in it. And my mum, who is in no way a gambler, my brother lives in Japan. She went to visit him. He said, "You have to come to a pachinko hall." They went in there, and my mother said that they went in at about 10 in the morning, and when she came out, it was dark, and she'd been in there for 8 hours. And you take your bag of like 10,000 ball bearings to the desk, and you get like a stuff thingy, or you get your prize. But my mum, and she's not she's not a cultural critic, but she even said to me, she said. What was bizarre was I felt like I wasn't there. She's just part of this system of entertainment, just a leisure system.
Why is it ball bearings? Why don't they just use like tickets or whatever?
Well, because of the noise is part of the, when 100 ball bearings fall into your little metal tray, there's a psychological
it's like
sense
coins,
of a win.
only not. I see. Yeah.
I mean, if a little paper ticket went, it's not the same as.
Yeah.
How many times I'm not a gambler, but I've played fruit machines in pubs and that. And you something happens. No one really knows what's going on apart from the addict in the corner who's sitting looking, waiting until it's hit its certain percentage, so he knows it's going to pay out. And it suddenly goes, and you're thinking, here we go, and then the digits go, and it's like you won £1.
Yeah.
but the
dopamine machines, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played this game Diablo 3 that made me think that, because it's just this video game, but it's just like constant like flashing and like 50 hit combo, just like nonstop, just like nonstop hitting the dopamine. I can't wait for number 4.
It's like the machine celebrates your illusory win.
Yeah.
Incredible.
In reality, I think, as we've talked about on your show many times, ADL has been very alarmed at the level of just raw toxic anti-Semitism. And on Twitter, let me be clear, I believe that hate speech is part of the price of free speech. I think we've got to be willing in a democracy to tolerate ideas that we really don't like, that we even detest.
Okay. This is Jonathan Greenblatt, CEO of the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League. I don't know if you know, but he recently had a meeting with Elon Musk, him and a bunch of like other civil rights NGO people. Now, he's just said hate speech is part of free speech, and you have to tolerate ideas that you don't like in a democracy. I agree with that. I think you probably agree. I think a lot of us here probably
his angle
agree.
there, though, because the ADL certainly doesn't go along with that at all, do
Well,
they?
let's see where he goes.
Okay.
But there's something different about incitement and threats. So I'm not talking about conspiracy theories that are, without consequence, but claims that, Jews invented the Holocaust, or that we want to kill non-Jewish children, or that Israel is committing genocide and murdering people wantonly, and so on and so forth. This is really problematic, Joe, and it has real-world consequences. So while we have been concerned, and I've expressed it on this show, where would Elon take the platform? I've now had several conversations with him. He held an audience, not just with me, but I brought together other civil rights leaders from our Stop Hate for Profit coalition. And, actions speak louder than words, but I'm encouraged by what I heard this week.
You are.
It's very strange, the idea that like it would be okay to just say, "Oh man, I hate Jews. They're terror, they're schemer, this and that." He's saying it would be fine if you said that, but you can't say Jews want to like whatever. I don't want to be careful what I say here, but you know what I mean? Like the examples he just gave, it doesn't seem like a meaningful distinction. I mean, it's just, obviously he doesn't agree that you're allowed to say hate speech against Jews. Obviously he would be totally against that. So he's full of shit on the first thing. And then he's wrong on the second thing, because you can't, it comes back to this whole push we've seen over the last 6 years since 2016 when Trump got elected, which is this idea that misinformation is so dangerous and deadly that it has to be controlled. And it's not good enough to control it by just putting out counter information. You have to ban the people who are spreading the misinformation, because they're going to get people killed. And that's such a deadly slippery slope to go down of censorship. And what we've seen just over the last couple of years is that the experts and the fact checkers get it wrong, have to constantly change and update the facts to align with what the conspiracy theorists were saying the year earlier. So obviously this isn't working. This whole, forcing, arbitrating the truth just isn't working.
It was amazing. It was an amazing 3 random examples of things that you can't talk about. That he didn't seem to have his own personal agenda there at all. But they I know it's a trite thing to say, but they never go the next step. Well, who's going to decide? Who gets to say that? That's your job, is it? You get to say what's not allowed. Great. That's going to go well. It's shocking.
Okay. Can you give us some color on that?
Sure.
What did you hear?
Sure. So, first and foremost, privately and then in the larger group, he told me and the cohort, which included the NAACP, Color of Change, Free Press. By the way, the George Bush Presidential
The usual suspects.
Center, not exactly bleeding heart liberals, Joe, and the Asian American Foundation. We all came together, and he said, number one, I am not going to re-platform people who've been kicked off the service until we have a clear and transparent process.
I just have to say that I'm so far very disappointed with Elon Musk. It's been a nothing burger. Twitter hasn't changed. It hasn't improved. Well, actually, it has improved a little bit, but I think that's just because a bunch of people came back to try it again. I think that's temporary and illusory, and it's not going to last unless there's real changes that are made.
Well, Elon Musk isn't to be trusted, is he? He's a transhumanist. He wants to get us all, like I was just talking about a while back, he wants to get us all rigged into the system. He wants us to have metal implants and processors in our brains where we can pay by breathing or whatever. That's not really where I don't think that's a good direction for society. He bought Twitter, I think, for the power of owning Twitter. I think it's his own agenda, not free speech.
Yeah, it's looking more and more like that. And when I try to tweeted about this here and there, or brought it up, and people say, "Oh, you be patient. It's only been a few," and it's like, all he had to do was bring back everybody who got banned over bullshit. And even if you're gonna keep your rules in place, which so far he has, so far there's been no, he's like, oh, free speech and this and that. There's been no rules. He's tweeting about how they're gonna make sure Twitter is an accurate source of information, which is again this idea that you're going to arbitrate truth and control the narrative to stop the spread of misinformation, which is again just doesn't work out in practice.
Yeah.
All he had to do is bring people back, and even if you're not changing the rules, just say, look, everybody deserves a second chance. Okay, so you can have your account back, but the rules are still there. Even that would have been something, but he's done nothing other than this Twitter Blue thing, which has been a total disaster. I don't know if you followed this at all. So he sold the check marks, and they've already stopped selling them because people are like crashing stocks by impersonating accounts using the check mark. And they tweeted like somebody did like Lockheed Martin and tweeted out that they were no longer going to sell weapons to like Israel and Saudi Arabia because of the human rights abuses, and the stock crashed like 5 or 10% or whatever. It's pretty fucking funny, actually. I think it's really funny, some of the stuff that's happened.
For $8,
savings isn't funny, but
for $8, that's a good bit of trolling. And also, even if that stock recovers, it won't recover fully because people will be like,
Caesar sent $5. Thanks for sending me this so I can send you $1 finally.
So I think that's actual damage to Lockheed Martin. Amazing. Here's my problem with it, and it's a little bit selfish, but so I saw all that happen. I tried to get a check mark because I wanted to impose myself upon the elite's mentions. They wouldn't let me I don't know why. But then I've got a Substack.
I think you need an iPhone, as far as I know. I've
got one. I've done everything it said. It said you have to go on iOS. It may be because I'm in Cambodia, but my account is registered in England. But regardless, I've been on Substack for a year, and Substack is fantastic when it comes to censorship. The CEO of Substack was on CNN and he said they said, what about false information, misinformation?
Yeah, they're actually good at Substack. Yeah.
And he said I think that misinformation is important to be out there. He said, in fact, I think it's maybe more important that misinformation and arguments around it are in the public space. So I've always loved Substack. I get an email from Substack a few days ago. We're introducing badges. Okay, so where's this going? Now, if you're making a fortune on Substack, my account, I don't monetize my Substack. I'm not going to use that model. But if you're making a fortune, you get like a purple badge. If you're making a bit of money, you get a red badge. And if you're making nothing, you don't get a badge at all. So the problem with that, of course, is if someone goes to Substack to browse, there's now social proof in place. So are any browsers going to go to my no badge account? Well, no one's paying him,
Right.
Oh, look at this person. They got a purple badge. They're making over 100,000 a month. I'll have a look at them. So, I get that it's a platform to make money, but it's starting to get a bit cloying because every week on Substack, this week on Writers Office Hours, we'll tell you how to get monetized. I don't want to get monetized. I don't need to put a pay. No one wants to read my stuff anyway. I'm not going to put another block in front of it.
Well, so the thing is, whether you like it or not, that sort of status symbol, that's like actually important for these websites to work. I don't think Elon Musk understood that when he tried to even the playing field. Like those status symbols, cringe as they are, that it's an important aspect socially of what people actually want, whether they admit it or not. And that's actually why Facebook killed MySpace. Because MySpace had a huge user base, and when Facebook started, it was invite only. And it was just the fact that it was invite only. You had to have somebody send you an invite, made it this cool thing. Clubhouse was like that for a while too. Clubhouse, I don't know, it's just like it just got old or whatever and kind of died off. But it was
your
a phenomenon for a while.
Wouldn't your subscriber count have the same effect if you went to Twitter and subscribers 500,000?
Well, yes,
it
does. Yes. But the badge is just another thing you can have on top of that, right?
Yeah.
There's this movie that came out a little while ago called I'm Not Okay that I watched, and it was a comedy, and it was kind of funny by modern standards. It had some issues with it, but there's this funny part where there's like this guy who's like this like BuzzFeed writer, and he adds this chick on Instagram, and he's verified, and she sees like the verification badge and has this kind of like, ooh, this guy noticed me. And it's very like, they're really like touching on something real with that, you know?
Yeah.
That's a real thing.
Yeah.
We got a couple super chats that came in. Let me take a real quick super chat break here and remind people, if you want to send in some comments or questions for me or the guest, you can hit me on powerchat.live/LP Original G. We also have streamlabs.com/LP Original G. Although I'm trying to push powerchat.live as the preferred method now, and I see they upgraded their interface recently. But Augustus Caesar sent us $5, and he says, "Thanks for sending me this so I can send you money finally." Thank you, sir. Appreciate the support. And then he sent another $3, and he says, "How about this? We need Dangerfield to put on a shirt for my mental health."
Yeah, it's 34 degrees here. If I put a t-shirt on, it will just be soaking wet. By about now, it would be... No, I can't do it. I'm sorry.
There you go.
I'll just... Is that any better for your mental health?
It's
maybe
really
see a
just your face
professional
at the end of the day. Yeah, I think he's just joking around. Sun and Rad sent us $5 on Odyssey.
Anonymous sent $5. No question, just money.
Hold on. Sun and Rad sent us $5 on Odyssey, and he says, "Hail LP, Kate Fanning would be a great guest on the Progress Report. Something to consider." Do you know who Kate Fanning is? I'm not.
No, but I like it when people give you money to tell you someone better to get on as a guest.
Yeah, really. Can we get her on right now? This show's bombing hard.
I have heard the name though.
Yeah, kind of. I'll have to look into it. I'll have to check that out. And also, we just got another one that came in while we were talking, so let me hit that. Anonymous sent $5 and said, "No question, just money." Thank you. Really appreciate the support. It helps me keep going. All right. This is the Great Kanye. You probably saw this one. This is another certified hood classic.
The thing about the red hat that drove me to a point of exhaustion, which was misdiagnosed by I'm not going to say what race, what people, doctor, and what hospital, and what media went to. We know I can't say that. It was a Jewish doctor.
Amazing. I think the thing about what's his name at the moment? Yay. Yahweh, did you say? The thing about him is, I think how can you be that famous and not have it affect you quite severely? I think that's the first problem.
He's also a billionaire, or he was a few weeks ago. He was a billionaire, not anymore.
Yeah, I think he's probably got plenty of investments. I don't think he's too bothered about the sponsorships he's lost. But I think he's kind of cracking up. I think he's breaking under the pressure. It's not a very well articulated argument. I don't think he's helping, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So I hear what you're saying, and I'm not going to argue, but just to sort of put some context around what he was saying there in that clip, he's saying that the red hat, the MAGA hat, right? So when he started wearing a Make American Great Again hat, he got diagnosed with bipolar.
Wow.
And he's saying that was a bullshit diagnosis, that he doesn't have bipolar, that they're just trying to label him as crazy because he came out as a Trump supporter.
I don't believe in mental illness. I don't think it exists. I think that's a big hoo-ha. I think the whole of psychiatry has just been a con.
Yeah, I more or less agree. I mean, there's obviously people who are not well adjusted.
Yeah, it's behavioral. I mean, the mind is an abstract concept. How can the mind be sick? It doesn't make sense. The brain can be sick, but the mind can't. It's stupid.
Yeah. Although last thing I'll say on that too is the comedic timing, like the delivery on that. You have to appreciate that as a comedian, right? He's like, I'm not gonna say, I can't say who it is. And he like pauses, and he does a little pose after. That's a good clip.
I'm seeing a lot of women on TikTok complaining about like, my man just got home and he didn't put his clothes in the hamper. He put his clothes in front of the hamper on the floor. Like, what a minuscule thing to nag about. Like, if your man's out there doing everything he needs to do for his half of y'all's relationship, and like, you're gonna fill his already overwhelmed plate of things with pick your clothes up off the floor. And I can understand not everybody has their relationship set up like mine. We have traditional values. It is my job in the home to do the laundry, and I see it as an act of love to pick my man's clothes up off the floor and put them in the laundry basket. He has made my life so easy with handling everything outside of the household. Like, the least I can do is return that and not nag about small shit.
So here's an example of the
Augustus Caesar sent $5 Lamau. I have so that is very delusional. She def has bipolar very similar to Yi, although he's not wrong about the stats.
Sorry, we got a super chat there, and I think this is relating to what we were just talking about. Augustus Caesar says, I have sister-in-law that is very delusional. She def has bipolar very similar to Ye, although he's not wrong about the stats. Yeah, I mean, I think like personality disorders, I'm more inclined to like say those are real than mental, but it's kind of the same thing. It's kind of just like, well, you're maladjusted. You don't know how to act right. You know what I mean? I don't know. There's probably some people who get helped by medication, but that's a whole, like, we don't need to go down that topic.
If people are interested in that, look up a bloke called Jeffrey Sharla. He's made that's his life's career, debunking psychiatry. Psychiatry has its Bible. It's called the DSM, the Diagnostic Statistical Manual. I think that's what it stands for. Yeah. The first one was written, 100% of the authors, and there was about 40 of them, worked in Big Pharma. And they just invented mental illnesses. The next DSM, which was about 3 or 4 years later, the amount of mental illnesses that existed nearly doubled. Yeah. And then by now it's quadrupled. They just keep inventing them. And there's also a load of, I won't rant about this for too long because Jeffrey Sharla does it better elsewhere, but it got to the point where they were reverse engineering mental illnesses. They'd make a drug and it'd be like, well, what does this actually do to the brain? Oh, it does this. Well, what can we invent as a mental illness that we can then sell this drug for? It's an absolute scam. The whole, like addiction is a choice. It's behavioral. It's not a disease. How the hell is that a disease? It's bullshit.
Yeah, they also make changes to the DSM for political reasons and stuff like that. But we don't need to get into that. Anyway, here's your trad wife. long story short. So this is a pick-me girl who is not saying it. She's just, again, talking about being a good wife, and there's nothing wrong with that. But having said that, here's your trad wife, Anon.
Yeah, the first word that came was contradictions. I mean, I don't think she's quite as happy with her relationship as she's pretending. There's certain things about her that make me feel she doesn't want to be a traditional wife, but I'll leave that up to you.
Red flags.
I also see it as my man will
one or two red flags.
Outlive me. Unless some freak accident happens, he will go before I do.
That's, I mean, maybe in her case, her husband's younger or whatever. That's generally not true. Generally, women outlive men.
And it makes me also like almost emotional thinking about the fact that one day I'm not going to pick his clothes up off the floor. Like, I'm going to be doing laundry just for me. Fuck. I had to stop because I was getting too emotional. I didn't want to ruin my makeup today, actually.
Had to pop another Xanax.
The best bit was when she said, it almost makes me emotional.
So, yeah, in the grand scheme of things, your man missing the laundry basket, it's nothing, bro. Like,
yeah, we don't need telling that. It's like you said, again, she's in a car. I mean, yeah, we get it. If you're nagging someone for some clothes on the floor, you're their mum, not their partner. It's ridiculous. Like you said about the gender politics, you know, you haven't struck gold here.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got to make a video about this. I've got to educate dumb masses.
Also, you guys have laundry baskets? Isn't that, I mean, why did God invent the floor if he wanted us to have laundry baskets? You know what I'm saying?
Don't overwhelm your man with that kind of negativity.
Do you understand that none of you will get
that way?
Do you guys understand the consequences of what you've just done?
No.
You guys are not going to get into a college. You guys are not going to get any scholarships because this is a hate crime.
We all dropped out of high school. It's okay.
I still don't think it's appropriate for you guys to be doing this. It's really it's really not funny.
All right, that's just disgusting.
So what? They blacked some people up as prisoners. That was
for Halloween, but that's no excuse.
I don't know. I just don't.
No, that's really I think that's really funny personally and ballsy, because you know that one's going to piss people off, and by doing the prison costume, you're really just asking for trouble.
I went to a
people hate stereotypes. I don't know if you know this, but people really don't. They don't like stereotypes. You're not supposed to acknowledge them ever.
I went to a fancy dress once. Well, I think I was about 15, and it wasn't Halloween, but I might have been a bit younger actually, because it was around the time of the big Ethiopian famine, and I browned up. I got one of those pregnancy bellies, so I had a distended belly, and I got some of those. You know, you get those little fake flies in joke shops, and I glued them around my eyes. And it was just, I don't think any Ethiopians suffered in the making of that costume. I think they had other things to worry about.
Another hate crime.
Yeah. Chalk it up.
Anyway, we'll come back to that story later. So we'll just leave that there for now.
I'd have to laugh at that. I should be prosecuted.
The people I ever hear use the word inflation are journalists and economists, right? So that is not part of the normal lexicon of the way people talk. So it's interesting that Republicans are doing something they don't normally do, right? Which is not use the common tongue, right? Not use just common English to sort of do on their campaigns like they're doing with crime. But what they've done is they've taught people the word inflation, right? Yeah. Most people who would have never used that word ever in their lives are using it now because they've been taught it, including on TV, including in newspapers. They've been taught this word, and they sort of wrap this word around whatever it is that they really want to vote, the reasons they really want to.
I mean, she's unbearable at the best of times. I put that clip on my Twitter. The idea that people don't know what inflation is just
I mean, it's insulting, really. Yeah. And it just behooves me to remind everybody that's MSNBC host Joy Reid, who at one point it came out that she had extremely virulently homophobic writings on her blog, and the way she dealt with it was by saying that she had been hacked. Somebody hacked into Joy Reid's blog to make these terrible homophobic posts. It was a big setup job, but she would never do that.
No, she's absolutely detestable. But then she then uses lexicon. She says people talking in the lexicon of the way people talk. Yeah, but the way people talk is the lexicon. So she tries to sound all clever by saying lexicon. Oh, trust me, I know what lexicon means. But she doesn't. She tautologizes herself in the same sentence. I can't stand the woman. That actually hurt. When I put it on Twitter, I was like, thank God I'll never have to watch that again. And
No, she's terrible. And I mean, not to state the obvious here, but like inflation is kind of like a really big fucking problem, Joy. And you can't make it go away by not talking about it. Like people are going to notice when everything costs more and more and more, you know, whether they know the technical term. I'm not some big city economist, you know, I don't know all these fancy words like inflation, but I know the fucking grocery bill is like 30% more than it used to be, Joy. So I think it's kind of an issue that needs to be addressed.
But didn't our friend who's equally nauseating get the sack from MSNBC? I can't think of her name, but another racist actually. I can't think of her name, but Joy Reid, because she's on the same channel, she wanted to defend her, but she had to be a little bit sort of, because she didn't want to lose her gig. But yeah, one of her colleagues, someone in the chat might know who I'm talking about, one of her colleagues got shunted off of MSNBC for pretty much the same stuff that Joy Reid does.
Yeah, I kind of vaguely remember. I can't remember exactly what it was that she said, but there's so many of these leftists with their, you know, there was the LA council woman the other week who said something about the black kid being a monkey or whatever. You know, these leftists, they're always making these crazy racist statements in private. It's hard to keep track of them. Somebody says Cross in the chat. I think that might be, but I don't know. I forget the name. By the way, this will make you happy, Chris. Ephilia Multimedia sent $5 on Odyssey and said, never heard of this Dangerfield guy, but he's the best guest you've had yet. Promote him to co-host and forget about whoever that other guy said.
Thank you very much. What a wonderful thing to say. That's made my day.
Some love for the Dangerfield. And by the way, you can't be co-host because I can't do it at this time every week. This is crazy hours. These are crazy hours.
But it is for me too.
All the East Coast people are already in bed. Mr. Wright sent $5 and he says, used the word inflation since I was a kid, only practiced it since Biden.
That's a great call.
Okay, this is a good video. Let's check this out.
They're making sprawling, they're shooting, there's gangbangers versus gangbangers, they're shooting across at each other. Let them do it. Spalding. Let it be. Middle.
Sir Mac and Spalding, the gang members are shooting at each other.
So it's
incredible.
It is. And I mean, it's, you know, it's obviously funny. Like, or that's the initial reaction is like, haha, the cops are letting the gangbangers shoot at each other. And you kind of agree and all that. But at the same time, it doesn't bode well for society. No, you know what I mean? It's not really what you want happening in your country. Gang like shootouts and the cops just being like, fuck it. It's obviously very dangerous. People get caught in the crossfires of these things and children could get killed.
Are the police turning up going to add to that or take away from that? Because the police, all the police can do is fire their guns in that situation. So there's only more bullets flying about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you would hope that the police are like better trained and better marksmen than the gangbangers. I'm not saying I wouldn't do the same. Okay. I'm not going to be rushing in there to handle that kind of situation if I'm a bystander. But, you know, it is kind of like their job at the same time.
Yeah, but the thing is, they've been so kind of castrated with it. Like, I mean, what is this thing? In some states you can go into Walmart and as long as you haven't stolen over $900 you can just walk out with it.
Yeah, it's like San Francisco and some places like that. And even the places where it's not technically illegal, they still don't charge you or they just let you out without bail or whatever. I mean, it's insane. And we can't even win an election in this climate. With all this fucking crime going on, it's crazy. I mean we kind of did okay in the election, but we should have done a lot better.
Yeah, I'm very disappointed. I thought this was an obvious red wave coming. How can you defend what the commies have done to America in 2 years? It's remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. In some states, it's not illegal to resist arrest. I mean, once you've that's it. The horse is bolted. Once you can't, if you can resist arrest, it's over. You know,
yeah,
because
that is wild. But at the same time, I will say that like obstruction, you know, that's like one of the most bullshit laws. That's the one they always get you with when they have nothing on you, but the cops want to punish you, is they charge you with obstruction.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what you mean.
Obstructing a police officer in the performance of their duties. It sounds like you would need a law for that, but it's always abused. That's one of the most like abused, like when they just like the cops are like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And you're like, "Fuck off," and then they just arrest you and charge you with obstruction. And like, technically, you're allowed to tell them to fuck off, but I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend testing the police in that way.
It's always so interesting.
Hang on, whoa, Lyndon, seriously though, you're chief of police, what would you do in that situation?
Oh, the gangbangers? I mean, off the record. Let them fight. Let them fight. Yeah. Yeah, no, I would do the same thing.
I mean, because you've only got a few options. You go in with bigger guns or more men. You know, you send in the helicopters with the 50 cows out the window. And is that good for a nation? Do you want police gunning people down in the streets from above? Do you send drones in to pick them off? Do you get snipers? There's not a lot of options. You know, these people are quite heavily armed, aren't they? The gangs.
Yeah, they don't have good aim, though. I mean, come on. handle this situation if you really want to. I mean,
I'm thinking for that police chief, he's got a very not only has he got limited resources, but there's not a lot he can do in that situation. He can.
Yeah, well, I don't know that was the chief on the phone or on the radio there, but I hear what you're saying, and I don't. Yeah, I get it. We all get it. It's a fucked up situation. I think the answer is don't live in Chicago. Most of us are probably doing already.
When you hear people talking about, oh, black folks can't swim, and it's like, that's because of racism and anti-blackness. So back in the day, before desegregation, there used to be a whole bunch of public pools where black kids could go swimming and do all of those things. So after desegregation, you started to see all of these images popping up of white people pouring acid and snatching white kids out of pools where black people were in. Then there were stories of how a whole pool was drained because Sammy Davis Jr. got in it, and stories around Dorothy Dandridge, the scene from the movie where she stuck her toe in the pool and then they drained it. What they don't tell you is that after desegregation, they cemented in more than 2,000 swimming pools in the country, primarily in black neighborhoods. This was also the rise of country clubs, which became exclusive to whites only so that their kids could still learn how to swim. So when we see black folks drowning at 4 and 5 times the rate of white people, just know it is not by chance. It is all by design.
Of course it is. I mean, in a way, it was a great bit of comedy. They drained a pool because Sammy Davis.
Yeah, they cemented it in. So it's so fucking crazy. And they then they go to country clubs because that's the only place you could like. Every city have always had like swimming programs. You can send your kid to swimming lessons. It's not very expensive. You just have to actually give a shit about your kid.
There is,
you know what I mean? Like that's like when I was a kid, that's what my parents did. They sent me to swimming lessons, and they had the whole, and you learn like CPR and all that stuff. You know what I mean? My daughter, I taught her how to swim from like age 2. I started taking her swimming every week, and she can swim well enough. She's probably should still do lessons at some point, but she at least knows how to swim because I just took her to the pool myself. It's just, you have to be involved in your kid's life, and there's no other excuses. Bringing up 60 years ago, and I mean, what he's saying is largely bullshit anyways. It's most of what he's saying is like so extremely exaggerated, it's ridiculous. But even if it was true, even if everything he was saying was true, like, doesn't matter. There's no excuse now to not teach your kids how to swim.
Yeah. Absolutely. Just ridiculous. I saw that as well. I do like, I mean, they were pouring acid in. You can imagine it was just some story in the.
So I Googled that because I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? There was one story from like 67 or some shit, something to do with like Martin Luther King tried to go to, it was like right after desegregation, tried to go to eat in some like restaurant in this like resort, and they kicked him out. This is in Florida. And then the white civil rights activists and the black civil rights activists staged a swim-in where they all went in the pool of this place together. And the guy got like basically a bottle of chlorine. It wasn't technically chlorine. It was hydrochloric acid, but it's pool cleaner.
Yeah.
And he's like dumping the bottle. He's saying, you're all going to burn. So that's the story. That happened one time. There was a picture of it. There's like a Wikipedia page on it and everything. It wasn't, but you know, when you make it sound like dumping acid in the pool, it's like you're burning your skin off. Nothing happened to these people. The amount of pool cleaner that was dumped in the pool in the water was not nearly enough to like actually damage anybody. You could drink that water after he was done. Literally.
Why do they love it so much, Lyndon? Why is he so happy to tell that story?
Well, it's the same as what I said about the gender thing, which is they feel like they have this like esoteric knowledge and wisdom that they're dropping on the masses. That it's just is like, look at me, I'm special. Look at what I know, you know. And it's also just that there's currency and victimhood and all that kind of shit. Like, just fucking learn how to swim, man. You know what I mean? It's fun. It's actually kind of fun swimming, by the way.
We learned to swim in rivers. We used to go down to the rivers and just you get in the river and you learn to swim. We didn't go to pools when we were really young. I learned to swim in the rivers in Dartford. Yeah, just in dirty old rivers.
Also, really having to acknowledge a very central fact that reporting from the FBI and even in terms of Homeland Security, Jamie and I sit and he is the chair and I'm the vice chair of the House Oversight Subcommittee on Civil Rights and Civil Liberties. And we've held hearings on this and
somebody in the cozy chat said Tiffany Cross. So
that's it. Yeah. Joy Reese, mate. Good call.
There is absolutely no doubt that the data shows that the vast majority of incidents of domestic terror come from white nationalism, and that we are really truly facing an environment of fascism. And in the United States of America, this type of intimidation at the polls brings us to Jim Crow. It brings us back and harkens back to a very unique form of American apartheid that is not that long past ago.
Amazing diction. Do you think she believes that? Do you think she thinks there is? I've never met a white supremacist. I've been operating in nationalist circles for about 4 years now. I've not met a white supremacist. I've never met a fascist. I mean, I'd like to. I don't even think fascism is a problem. It's a political a way of organising society where the state is strong and we are stronger as a group. I don't support it.
Fascism isn't really even explicitly right wing.
Well, exactly.
It's more of a centrist ideology. It's just a very authoritarian centrist ideology. Yeah.
But the idea is that the state is benevolent. I mean, I am up for a benevolent dictatorship. I think that would work. I would love, I mean, I've got to be careful because of where I am, but I think a benevolent dictatorship, someone who actually a dictator that cared about the country and the people.
Yeah, well, that's why you have this whole LARP about how monarchy, we need a and it's like, yeah, it's great as long as it's benevolent, but eventually it's not going to be benevolent. Like that's like the people got off monarchies for a reason. Also, I don't think that modern people are like the reason monarchies work to the extent that they did work is because people were religious and they believed that the king had like a dictate from God. People just don't think that way anymore. So I don't think it would work. But I get what you're saying though, is like just having somebody who has the power to cut through all the bullshit and red tape, but also has your best interests at heart. Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah,
democracy is not working too well, is it?
No, it's really not.
But going back to my initial question,
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Does she really believe it? Who the hell knows, man? It's like the Elon Musk thing again too. Like I really like probably not. She probably knows it's kind of bullshit, but at the same time, it's like the DOJ does put out some things to that effect. So it's quite a defensible statement, although it's only very recently that they started saying that as opposed to Islam. But I mean, the real reality of it is that domestic terrorism is like exceedingly rare. Like politically motivated violence, like, yeah, every year there's like one or two things that happen that are pretty bad. But in a country of like 350 million people, that's not too terrible, to be honest. You know, and it would probably be less than that if the FBI got disbanded, because they're inciting those and making those things happen. So if we didn't have the FBI, we probably would have virtually zero domestic terror in America. But what you do have is these kind of mass kill sprees, or spree killing or mass shootings, but which are not like ideologically motivated, but are just like angry kind of losers shooting up their school because they were bullied or whatever. That's like a much bigger problem, and everybody knows it, but because you can't score political points, there's no reason to really talk about it. And also the gang violence, like you're more likely to catch a stray bullet from gangbangers in Chicago than you are from some like right-wing extremist.
Well, they also change the goalposts, don't they? I mean, that man complaining about his daughter getting raped at school was put down as a domestic terrorist. Remember when they jumped him, and they started sending the FBI into PTA meetings. I mean, it's easy to fiddle the figures when you're defining sorry about your daughter got raped, you terrorist. Get on the floor. I mean, do you think AOC is at home of an evening flicking through her Keynesian economics books and all that, or no?
Yes, she is studying economics. She's making a plan. She's checking it twice.
There you go.
Honestly, when AOC is finally president, we're going to see some real change in this country for the better, I might add. By the way, I saw somebody in the chat go by. Somebody said, I bet she has really soft skin. I see what you guys are saying, and I'm disappointed, to say the least, in some of you guys. Some of y'all need Jesus, or at least the horny police.
I mean, I can't separate what she looks like from what she says. There's that ridiculous thing where she turned up in her accent. How's it going, y'all? And it's like, no, you can't. You just don't be that person.
Listen. Hey, hot tamale. She is. I mean, she's pretty. I'll give her that.
And we have never fully healed from it. And those wounds threaten to rip right back open if we do not strongly defend democracy in the United States of America.
I saw a good meme. It was it said democracy is on the ballot, and they're like reaching their hand out, and then behind their back they had a knife, and the knife was labeled with communism.
The wound has never healed because the likes of AOC spend their lives keeping it open, putting speculums in and winding them up. It's ridiculous. What did you see Mr. Reagan's documentary about her being an actress, and they cast the role? If people haven't seen it, there's a YouTube channel called Mr. Reagan. Worth a look. It's like a conservative, sort of typical conservative. But he made this fascinating video, loads of information that would seem to back it up. That AOC was, she went to, they cast someone. They wanted someone to be, a political figure. And they had auditions. They got people in, and she was one of those. She was an actress, and she came in and she went for this gig and she got it. Cenk Uyghur's involved and all that. I think it's to do with the Democratic Socialists. Yeah, watch it. Really interesting. Mr. Reagan.
That is interesting because actors being politicians is nothing really new. Like Ronald Reagan was a politician. You can see how that would lend itself to the job, right? Those kind of skills. It's all about like persuasion and charisma is a big part of it. But yeah, I'll have to check that out because if they're actually doing auditions for it and there's actually like receipts for that, I would be very interested to see that. So
you got to think of the quality of the people that turned up if she got the gig. You know, I mean, the IQ level of those.
I mean, hey, you say what you want, but they love her on the left. She's very popular. She's on Twitter. She's very popular. If she'll have a great career as an e-girl if the politics thing doesn't work out.
No, she's already having a great career as an e-girl. That's what she is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, I like being ran. Yes, I like gangbangs. I like being manhandled by several different men at once. If you want to call it being ran, you call whatever the fuck you want. I'm sexually liberated and I'm a goddess and I deserve to have hands all over my body.
Right.
I deserve to be worshipped. Like, why not? I deserve that attention.
Yeah, that's worship.
There's your trad wife, Anon. When I see a clip like this, I just think like this is liberal propaganda. This is the kind of stuff that young people watch and they think, oh, look at her. She's so happy. She's such a boss bitch. She's doing it for herself. And the truth is like people like that end up miserable most of the time.
I think people like her start off miserable. What is rand? I don't understand that slang. I don't know it. I'm ran.
Like ran through, have a train ran on you, get turned out by the football team.
She means I've been fucked by loads of blokes.
Yes.
Proud of that.
Oh, you sweet summer child. Yeah, that's what she's saying. Yeah.
Wow.
Sure. All right. So you.
I can't help but think the boyfriend of the other woman is sitting there at the moment absolutely gutted that his missus isn't talking like her. Don't question it, please.
She's a goddess.
Yeah,
I have to ask, could the Biden administration, could Democrats in Congress have said or done anything to prevent or even slow down this Musk purchase of Twitter? I feel like if George Soros had been buying Twitter, the right would have made far more noise and expressed more outrage. Dems just let it happen as if it's fine for Twitter to become yet another platform for misinformation and hate.
Yeah, again, another amazing insight. People on the right wouldn't want some hardcore leftist activist taking over one of the biggest communication platforms in the world. Yeah. No.
I think it's interesting that, as we mentioned earlier about Elon Musk, I think he's probably more on their side than he is ours. Yes, he's a billionaire, but this is a result for them. If they're complaining about this, because he hasn't chopped his dick off or something, I can't see the problem for them. Like you said, there's not gonna be many changes.
Yeah, and there hasn't been. And I mean, Elon Musk did say before the election that he was voting Republican for the first time in his life and that everybody should vote Republican. So you could say like he's nominally on our side for things like that, but that's just like a very recent transition. He's still got a long way to go to like shake off the stench of liberalism that no doubt surrounds his brain. And there was one tweet that I retweeted that kind of said it all, which was, after Elon Musk met with the ADL and all those people were upset on Twitter and saying, oh, like, you're cucking to the NGOs. Like, what are you doing? Like the fucking ADL, like, come on, these people they don't have your best interests. Like and Elon Musk tweets out like, I'm pissing off the left and the right. I must be doing something right, And somebody quote tweeted that and said, Elon Musk says he wants free speech, pisses off the left. Elon Musk fails to deliver free speech, pisses off the right. Oh, I must be doing something right. It's like, no, you're supposed to give us the free speech, Elon.
Yeah.
That would be doing something right. I still like, part of me hopes maybe there's just a delayed thing here, but it's that hope is quickly fading.
Lyndon, why do you think he bought it?
I don't know. I think you're right. He wants the power to control the narrative, and I think it is a lot of power to own Twitter and to be able to control what is and isn't said. But like, bring everybody back, man. Bring back the people. Bring back Donald Trump, Milo, Tommy Robinson. You know, everybody, man. Bring back Stefan Molyneux. You know, a lot of these people never even like did anything egregious or wrong. They just got on the wrong side of these fucking NGOs, like the ADL and Hope Not Hate and all these people, and we let these fucking dorks tell the tech people what to do. It's retarded.
And they just jump.
Tell those fucking losers to kick rocks, Elon.
you see that photo you used of me in the thumbnail?
Yes.
Hope Not Hate.
Oh yeah, that's where I got it. Hope Not Hate Twitter. Yeah, you recognize that, eh? Yeah, that's true.
So Hope Not Hate were on me for a while, and they said, they put that picture. So the picture, I've got my hat on and my glasses, and I'm sort of going like that, like looking a bit confused. And the tweet was, this bare-chested far-right YouTuber operating from his base in Cambodia. Not my home in Cambodia, my base.
Yeah.
They didn't mention my Cambodian fiance because that doesn't sit very well with
white supremacy.
Far right.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, I thought my expression looked like I just read their comment. And
I thought so too. I thought it was like apropos for the kind of stuff that we're watching. Yeah.
But I was just going to say, I got banned from PayPal. You know, the one where you could just give out your PayPal link, PayPal Me, I think it was called.
Yeah.
I got banned from that with no way of talking to them. I just logged in one day and it said, you are not allowed to use our services anymore. This PayPal has got to be a safe space for everyone. And so someone had just contacted them and said, yeah, he's not nice. And they went, okay.
And once you're like, because you had like some stories in the media about you, I've been really lucky that I've so far have flown under the radar for that kind of thing. I don't know how long that's going to last, but once there's like a story in some bullshit news publication, like whatever it is, Metro or the Daily Mail or whatever, and they call you a Nazi, then that gets that link can just get sent, and it's like the narrative has been laundered with this sort of a validity or whatever the word is, where they can say, oh, they wrote this in the news, it must be true, and then they ban you, you know.
That wasn't a tabloid, that was the Sunday Times. And that I'd done a series of interviews with teenagers, like not 13, 14, I said 16 minimum. And it was only 14 videos, and it was called Talking with Teens. And all I said was, if you want to come on, talk about anything, I want to know what it's like being 16, 17, 18 and growing up in today's world. That was it.
Yeah, you do, like, you're streaming, you do very kind of open-ended, wandering conversation. Like, you don't really have an agenda, right? You're just kind of like to talk and stuff. Yeah.
And they said I was grooming teenage Nazis. Yeah. Hello, Mum. Yeah. Don't read the Sunday Times. Shut up, bye. Yeah, shocking. Yeah. Absolutely shocking. The weird thing was, a tabloid, The Star, which is right in the gutter, they ran the same story with the same photos of Mark Collette and his ex-girlfriend with the Nazis.
Yeah.
Which that photo, you can't mention Mark Collette in the press without that photo, it seems.
Yeah, it's not great optics.
No, in fairness, it's not. But The Star run the same story to the word, but they didn't put my bit in. Even The Star sort of thought, yeah, that's not adding up. They omitted my bit.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, you should have waited a couple years because now it's hate speech to call somebody a groomer.
Oh, that's right.
Your problem is you were ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Kidding, of course.
I wonder whether soon we'll have NAPS, Nazi attracted person, instead of Nazi groomer. NAPS,
protected class.
This is really.
I love the way that car sounds. That's the sound of America, baby.
I was just about to say all I get from that was America. That was just America. Everything about that. Incredible.
Sad because I love black people so much, but I hate when they come to my job. Like, they never tip. Like, I be going so hard for black people, but never once have I ever had a black table tip me well, like, or like on percentage. Like, maybe once in a while, but like, I just had a table with like 15 people, Hispanic, like Dominican. I heard somebody saying they was Dominican, and then a table full of like black people. It was vibes the whole time. Like, I really gave great service. I always give great service. Do you know they did not tip? The bill was like $600. They did not tip. Like, and then they was doing the most. Like, they was sending stuff back. Like, they was asking for stronger drinks. Like, wanting free stuff, and like, no, like, mad at them. I can't stand serving black people.
Wow, that is disgusting and racist, and I'm in shock at that hate speech. No, speaking of stereotypes, that's another stereotype, by the way, that black people don't tip. And I want to do a video on stereotypes too, because they've actually done like a lot of studies, peer-reviewed scientific studies that have concluded that stereotypes are true, that the reason they exist is because they're real.
Obviously. It's like cliches, isn't it? There's a reason it's a cliche. It's
yeah. $600, no tip. That's a bitch.
Yeah.
There is a hurtful video going viral on TikTok. You've probably seen it. A warning. We're going to show it to you now to go over the facts behind this case here. It's people who are dressed in blackface at a Walmart in Cedar City. There's been a lot of misinformation about this video, so we wanted to break down the facts for you this evening. First off, we have confirmed this incident took place in Cedar City. The most viewed video with misinformation claims that the video involves students from Cedar Valley High School. That's in Eagle Mountain, 230 miles away. It has led to condemnation from people all across the country, including Governor Spencer Cox. Leaders with the NAACP also speaking about this video, painful for many to watch.
It's no laughing matter. It's nothing funny. Here we are in 2022. We've been working tirelessly across the country and in Utah to work and mend and help with race relations. We shouldn't have to do that, but we are.
The original poster of this TikTok has since taken it down, but the video continues to spread with tens of millions of views in less than 24 hours.
The backlash of people furious about this video is hitting the small town of Eagle Mountain in a...
We should get the DOJ on this.
Domestic
terror threat.
The amazing thing about these kinds of reports is they never, and I know this is kind of basic, but they never tell you what the problem is. They never tell you what the damage is. It's just assumed that this is bad. But why? Why is it? I mean, you want us to acknowledge this history, or do you want to pretend it never happened? You can't have it both ways. But what's the damage? What? It's not.
It's even worse than that. Is we all have to pretend like it isn't funny.
Very big and hateful way. And that's where news specialist Dan Rascone joins us live from with that part of the story. Dan, some similarities in names is where this stemmed from.
Yeah, Deanie, it kind of shows you the power of social media here, how ugly it can get, also damaging and false. Well, this area out here is also known as Cedar Valley, and apparently some students here at Cedar Valley High School got tagged as being in that video. Well, the hate messages got so bad they had to call the Utah County Sheriff's Office.
What are you talking about? No, that has nothing to do with this.
Adam Clark, the head coach of Cedar Valley Mountain Bike Team.
We are not involved, and nobody on our team is involved.
Fielding hate calls from across the country that have to do with...
Do you guys understand?
So the wrong town or the wrong high school got identified, and now they're just getting flooded with hate.
Yeah, I don't think they're getting flooded. Two, no way.
Oh, I think they are getting flooded. I think they're getting flooded. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think people really fucking care about this a lot. A lot. I think people care about this. You could have a news story about how some woman murdered her children, or how some gangbanger accidentally shot a 7-year-old in a shootout. People wouldn't give fucking one iota as much as they would about these white high school kids who put shoe polish on their face. And I'm being serious. I know I'm sarcastic sometimes. I think that people are flooding that place with hate. You understand, they're angry because the kids do blackface, right? That's why they're getting flooded with hate. They think those kids go to that school, so they're contacting the teachers at that school and saying, we're going to get you motherfuckers, or what are you doing? You got to expel these kids. You got to call the police, whatever, Yeah,
but I reckon...
You don't think that's real? You don't think people care about this stuff?
I think the filter that goes down to the people who actually look up the phone numbers and make the call. There's a mass of people who are angry, who are going to put it on social media. Look at this is disgusting. And then there's the next section who are going to do a response video. And it keeps going down. The actual people that call in. If someone had called that bloke up while the cameras were there, they would have showed that. They would have said, look, even while we were here, someone called him up. He was on the phone.
He was on the phone.
But they didn't show you the bit where it was called. That was fake.
Wow,
they faked
conspiracy
that. They said
theory
to him,
here.
just pretend you've got one. No, I'm not them. I'm not the... If that phone had have rang then and he went, hang on, no, they would have said, we even got a call while we were here. No,
the thing is they put the phone number on social media, and they say to their followers, you call, here's the number, here's the principal, here, yada yada, here's the coach. And they blame, and the coach is white, so he's as guilty. He probably put them up to it, Chris.
I'd be surprised. I mean, I reckon you're probably looking at about 100 people actually go as far as making that call.
Well, that's quite a lot. That's a flood.
That's not a flood.
It is. You get 100 assholes calling your phone. That's a flood. Do you know how many phone calls I get on the average day? 0. If I get one, it's from my wife. Maybe the odd telemarketer. Really if I had 100 people call me in a week telling me to fuck off, that's a flood of hate.
Okay, all right. Well, in that case, yes. But I think, the way they give it this idea that the nation was upset, I'm not buying it.
Well, it's not the nation, but it's 0.1% of the nation, which is enough.
I understand the consequences of what you've just done.
This disturbing TikTok video that has exploded on social media.
I still don't think it's appropriate for you guys to be doing this.
The incident happened here at this Walmart in Cedar City, according to Cedar City Police. But 250 miles away in Cedar Valley, or Eagle Mountain.
Just because we were tagged doesn't mean anything.
The backlash is being felt in a big way.
I can't even show you. I've received pornography from people.
That brings us back.
Porn. It's not just phone calls too, right? They find your Facebook. They start sending you messages on there, whatever. You know what I mean? Sending you gay porn videos. Gay interracial porn videos.
It's a classic.
To Coach Clark, one of his athletes was tagged as one of the kids in the video, all because of reposts.
Most of you do go to
I always love to throw the interracial in because then people are like, whoa, what's wrong with that? So you're like, oh, so you have a problem with the gay videos, just not the interracial part.
CVHS, which is Cedar Valley High School.
Like this. According to police and the school district, Cedar Valley students are not in this video.
We're not involved. It's just a big misunderstanding.
The hate messages and threats got so bad a sheriff deputy had to be parked outside the boy's house.
Those people don't care about what the truth is. And ultimately, like, we've tried to explain it or tell them what the truth was. They've just argued back.
The Iron County School District says they're working with Cedar City Police for a full investigation.
The weird thing about that entire report was the object of the report was the report. The actual incident had so little to talk about that they ended up talking about everything around it.
Well, the reaction, yeah. But also what they just said at the end there was that the school where the students actually do go to, they're working with the police. which you think, why? Why are the, you know what I mean? I understand the police getting involved if there's like death threats getting sent and shit like that. But in terms of working with the police in regards to the original video, there's no crime.
Well, that was going to be my next question, because I don't know how that stands in America. That's not a crime, though.
No, but I mean they have hate crimes in America. Like they do have hate crimes, but you could never prosecute a blackface Halloween costume as a hate crime. It would never, not yet. They're not that far gone yet.
England's gone right down the pan. I don't know if you saw, you know, the multicolored flag that's got every minority group and
with the brown
and if you put 4 of them together, you get a swat.
Right. Yes. I heard this story. I saw this story. Yeah. The police arrested him, right?
Well, here's the weird thing. I can't remember the fella's name, but he used to be an actor.
Fox.
Yeah, Lawrence Fox. So he tweeted it, but the police didn't go after him because it would have been too big a story. Someone else retweeted it. The police turn up at his house. They cuff him, and they said to him, "Why have you got me in handcuffs?" They said, "Because you caused anxiety."
Right. No, you know what I think it is, and this is at least maybe this is bullshit, but this is according to the police. They went after the other guy because somebody complained about his tweet.
Right, that's it.
And so it's not like you can't say this or you can't do that. It's you can't have somebody complain about something you did, which is very, very fucked up, very like shitty situation, very untenuous, right? Very exploitable.
Yeah, but the bloke that they arrested, he pulled the rug out of their whole paradox, because he said, "Well, I'm anxious now, so can I get you arrested?"
Exactly.
And they were like,
exactly. It's fucking retarded.
It's really weird.
There was another one recently too, where a guy got arrested because he called somebody a Muppet. It's real. There's a video, and they're like, the police are like, "You called that person a Muppet," and they said that it upset them, and so we're taking you in.
Wow.
Rip bongs.
We are taking the matter really seriously. We've opened an investigation into the student involvement.
Oh, give me the Beethoven, free my soul. I want to get lost in the BTO and drift away.
It's Bizarro American Chris Dangerfield.
Fuck you. Dare you. He looks more like you at the moment than he does me. I tell you what.
You know what? I deserve that.
Oh, give me the Beto and free my soul. I want to get lost in the BTO and drift away.
We're going on a date. Say hi.
Soy hide, someone says in the chat.
We're going on a date, a wheelchair date. Because I was finally able to convince her to get out of the house. And it's going to be awesome. It's true.
I mean, I suppose we could just use our phones, but like...
Yeah. Phones are...
Space, race, case. These things rhyme with space. These things rhyme with space. Chicken, potato, carpet does not rhyme with space.
That's the best thing I've ever seen.
If I was going to write a parody of a slam poem, it would be exactly that.
Yeah.
And it would be delivered exactly that way. I would hire that person to deliver it, dressed exactly that way. I mean, it's amazing. She even fucks it up too. It's like a 3-line poem, and she's supposed to say does not rhyme with space, does not rhyme with case, but she says space twice, and you can see her. I think we should watch it one more time. This is
for sure.
This is really probably the best video of the night. So we should just to fully appreciate it here.
It's true.
I mean, I suppose we could just use our phones, but like...
Phones are...
But just watch how she fucks up where she says space twice when she obviously wasn't supposed to.
Space, race, case. These things rhyme with space. These things rhyme with space. Chicken, potato, carpet does not rhyme with space.
Absolutely nothing.
You have to admit, she kind of sells it. The way she looks at the audience after, like, yeah, you know, I just dropped some knowledge on you.
Yeah.
You're almost like, wow, yeah, she did. I'm not sure what she did, but she did.
I think my favorite bit is chicken. That's so out of the blue.
Yeah.
Chicken. Yeah. Amazing.
120? What do you do anything?
Blowing sex.
Nah, but I need somebody to wash my truck. You think you could do it for 120?
To wash your truck?
Yeah, in and out.
I'm not washing nothing.
Really?
Incredible that she'll suck your cock but won't wash your truck. Absolutely amazing.
$120. I'll wash your truck for $120, dude.
I set a camera up and it failed to record, which was a shame because it was very expensive and I nearly had a heart attack with stress building up to it. But I set a camera up in my flat when I lived in Soho, and I ordered a working girl who done the girlfriend experience. So yeah, and so that's where they pretend to be a girlfriend, obviously.
Right.
So I thought it would be easy, but the sort of half an hour between booking it and her arriving, I was really having to meditate. My heart was going to clappers, and she turned up, and I was like. She said, hello. I was like, why did you always put me down? Like I tried sort of turn the boyfriend experience on her. She was like, what? Why do you hate me? I said, I think what you wash are white. She was going to
the husband, the wife experience.
You're gaslighting me. Cool. So after I paid her and she fucked off, I thought it was all worth it. Camera, wasted 180 quid and didn't record.
Yeah. You were doing the wife experience instead of.
There you go. That's the mistake I made. Yeah. I tell you what, another very, very quick, embarrassing filming a prostitute story. I was.
How many of these you got?
I was in Thailand and there was this girl and she had a very odd way of trying to arouse me. But I sort of kind of liked it. It had a bizarro kind of thing going on. So I thought I've got to get this on film. Not my white ass going up and down, but just her weirdness. So she's come in the room. It's a massage parlor in Thailand. And I said, no, she said, so take your clothes off. I'll be back in a minute. And I'd already seen her a few times. So I got my phone and I pressed record. And I sort of put my clothes all around it so that just the camera bit was sort of, do you know what I mean? Through the hole in my clothes.
You're hiding the camera, yeah.
Yeah, she's come back in. She's straddled me.
This is probably like illegal, but
well, prostitution's illegal in Thailand.
Oh,
so
there you go. You're already at the party.
Yeah. And she just pointed straight at it and went, "Don't film me." And I was embarrassed. I was so humiliated. And it was like being a child. And my sort of, almost fight or flight response was, I said, it doesn't work. That's nothing, is it? It doesn't work. Yeah. And then we're having sex on the back of that awkward. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
After that.
I mean, you're already there, like we used to.
You paid your money. Yeah.
Let's hit we got a couple more super chats. Let's hit these. We're almost done here, by the way. We're almost at the end of the clips. Punished Ashton sent $10 and sent, "Hey LP, love the show. Question: would you say it's still worth to immigrate to the States? I'm from Australia, but want the freedom US gets, but the US government seems so irreparably corrupt and hell-bent on destroying white people like myself." Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, immigrating to the States isn't that easy to do. Like I married an American woman and it was still difficult to get my green card. Like it was like, they don't just give it to you. It's a whole fucking thing you got to go through. And like we hired a lawyer and spent like $12,000 or something on the immigration lawyer. And so if you're trying to do that without a wife, I don't even know, like it would be even harder. And so that's one thing to consider. I do think there's, I don't know. I think there's like good places. I don't think I'm in one right now, but I kind of think like in the future, like things are going to get more balkanized and people are going to like set up communities and there's going to be like some good spots to be. I don't know where exactly those spots are just yet, but I think there will be like really good places to be in the States in the future. I think things are going to get bad. Just going off the last election as sort of a indicator of where we're at. Like we might have another Democrat elected president in 2024 at this rate, you know what I mean? And they're just fucking over the entire country. And so things are going to get bad, I think, but there's going to be good local spots to be. So that's what I think.
To the question, Lyndon's answer is no. Lyndon, when you done that green card lark, did I mean, this is a very naive question because I don't know anything about it, but did you have to do all those sort of interviews? What music does he like? Where'd you go on holiday and all that sort of stuff? Or is that a fiction?
Yes. Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Wow. How did it go? Because that could end a marriage, couldn't it? Something like that. Sorry, your husband failed the "does he know you" test.
Right. Yeah. No, they didn't really go after us that badly for faking the marriage, but it was more, actually, they never split us up at all. So we didn't really have to do that. Like me and my wife had to go do an interview and they'll separate you and test you. They do, but they did like just in front of her. They asked me questions like, what's her birthday? And stuff like that. But my wife is very sort of like, she has like a little bit of anxiety about the whole thing. So she sort of like trained me so that I knew her birthday. You know what I mean? She made me memorize her birthday. So it was all good. It wasn't too bad because it worked, but it is stressful when you're going through it. It is, because you're like, if this doesn't work, I'm going to get kicked out of the country and my wife doesn't want to leave. Like it's not fun process to go through,
of course,
but it all worked out, fortunately. I think we got a couple on Odyssey too here. Let me check. I don't know how to scroll. Oh, here we go. Oops, I clicked it. 1 sec. You're right. Did we get this one? Oh yeah, use the word inflate. We got that one. Oddly enough, News sent $5 and said, "Let him do it." I think he's talking about the gangbangers shooting each other. Okay. All right. That's all the super chats. I believe, let me double check power chat real quick while we're on. Oh, August Caesar sent another $3 and said, "About white privilege to make black people drown." Laugh my ass off. Yeah. All right.
Take a vaccine, I wanna keep myself clean. I'm so organic. Don't wanna cover my face, my smile lights up the place. So please don't panic. My social credit score is gonna be on the floor. I would reckon the way it's going right now, the world will end anyhow, any second. To all my pure bloods, don't trust the science. Outcasts living in defiance, saying prayed up so nothing can go wrong. No GMO, the way we belong. You know it. Pure bloods, don't trust the science.
Pure bloods, don't trust the science.
It's in all your heads for the rest of the day, people. First thought, of course, there's always something a little bit jarring about the white man's Jamaican accent. That, I mean, let's not forget that one of the biggest recording artists in the world started his career doing that, of course, Sting. You know,
Right.
in the band The Police, he was like, "What you gonna do?"
Yeah. Roxanne.
Yeah. I met a bloke at a party. I was only about 20, and the party sort of was coming to an end. We were talking about songwriting and that, and he said, "Look, do you want to come back to mine?" Steady. He said, "You know, smoke some weed," and he said, "I've got a guitar at the house." And I said, "Yeah, let's do it." Nice bloke, actually. You know, seemed like a nice bloke. Anyway, the acid might have been interfering with my ability to judge his character. We get back to his house. Now, we'd had a really interesting talk about music. He was talking about boulez and serialism and the minimalists and Schoenberg. And I was saying, you know, the bloke knows his stuff. This is, okay, we get back and he says, he gets out his guitar. You know where it's going, don't
Campbell
you? He
sent
says,
$10 high
I've been
risk.
working on this for a while. I've been trying to do atonal tonality. He said, sort of where it's like the tonal stuff is the question, and you know, and it was like it's all this sort of music theory. And I was thinking, well, this will be interesting. No shit, he just done an offbeat and jank, and he went, "I don't get down to the part no more. I like to get and I don't see the whore." I was thinking, how do I get out? I was like, and of course, because he thinks it's great, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, middle eight, verse, chorus, but and at the end, I was like, yeah, sort of got a sort of reggae thing about it, hasn't it? Yeah, not good. So I felt a bit of that in there.
I hear you. You know what this made me think of? And this is almost a similar story. I'll keep it short. But when I was in grade 7, I had this science teacher who had long hair and was kind of a hippie and kind of like the cool guy, like, hey kids, you know, like, let me play you a song, and was probably like would have been voted most likely to fuck one of his students. You know what I mean? I think most people had a teacher like that at some point, or at least you know the archetype. And I kind of get that vibe off of and I'm not hating on these dudes. I'm just saying they kind of have that, like, is probably like a high school teacher who would probably fuck one of his students. That's the vibe I get from the video.
You got a lot of information out of very little there, but I like it. Nice. You've accused them.
I'm just saying.
Essentially.
Outcast living in defiance, saying prayed up so nothing can go wrong. No GMO, the way we belong.
Lyndon, let's 1 second. Lyndon, I just think we've got to be fair, and it's much like the people in their cars. They're not they're not saying anything that we don't really know, are they? It's much the same. They've made this song, you know, T-shirt science denier, and pure bloods. Okay, yeah, the vaccine's a bit dodgy. I think we have to judge each side by the same criteria.
Well, so I said this about Ryan Long when I went to his comedy show, and I said there is something.
Oh, hang on, you know those people.
No. I don't know those people. Ryan Long. Do you know who Ryan Long is? He's a comedian. No, like a YouTuber comedian. I went to his comedy show. We had him on the show here, and he got me tickets. And I had said, like, I don't know if this guy's actually going to be funny because he kind of like panders to a political base. It turned out, for the record, he was very, very, very funny, and we had a great time. But let's like, whether you're a musical artist or whatever, this like kind of like pandering to political audiences is kind of easy, you know what I mean? But having said that, it's not a terrible song, and it takes a lot more effort and work and talent to put something like that together than it does to sit in your car and talk about how there's 27 genders. You know what I mean?
I don't think it takes much more, to be fair. I think a professional musician could knock that up on a computer in about an hour.
No,
I've done it.
But they shot the music video and everything out there dancing with the cacti, the different angles. Come on.
Okay.
Blood, don't trust the science.
You like it. You said it's not a bad song. Before you roll VT, can we just have a look at the bloke in the back? Wait,
this one.
He knows it's wrong.
I'm not sure.
Oh dear.
Either
Maybe
that or it's much worse. They're in a bar, by the way. Why are there always like children in these bars dancing sexually for adults? What's that all about? Why do I keep seeing this?
It's easier to get them drunk.
God. Oh man.
And can we just say, I mean, it's been said before, but just for maybe the last time, makeup and a beard is one of the most unpleasant looks in the world. If you've got any makeup on and you've got a beard, it's disgusting. Look at it. It gives me the shivers.
Yeah. I saw a transgendered person today. This is a true story at the McDonald's drive-thru. People always give me shit when I admit that I go to McDonald's, but it's like usually on Saturdays I go to the gym in the morning and then I get McNuggets and coffee after the gym. I do it like every week basically. And the person in the drive-thru window had like a very masculine chin, like a Jay Leno chin, like the kind of like, not like a double chin like a fat person, but that weird kind of like, it's a very masculine thing, you know what I mean? You don't see women who have like a Jay Leno chin. And then he had 5 o'clock shadow, like almost a beard, but not really, but like a very obvious like stubble, and then tits. Very like masculine kind of presenting, other than the tits. You're just like, what is that about? And then the other notable thing, one other notable characteristic this person had, which was the meth scabies or whatever all over the arms. Yeah. If I get AIDS and die, it's not because I'm gay. It's because I eat at the wrong McDonald's. Okay. Just want to make that known.
How about new?
I saw that article. And I saw that article and just thought, yeah, exactly that. Oh, okay. Because that works in their favor, no end. Ridiculous.
Yeah, no, how about instead of an amnesty, how about we have a real like moratorium on everything that went wrong, all the lies that were told, all the people who were demonized for pointing out that they didn't believe the lies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How about we really like dig into that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because
responsible.
their side won't be able to cope with that. The truth will come out, and they'll look ridiculous, and we'll look unridiculous.
Right, and their whole sense of like ego and narcissism that they have is based off of this idea that they're right and superior and know better, and you're just a stupid pleb.
Yeah.
So they can't confront the fact that they were not just a little bit wrong, like a lot fucking wrong, a lot wrong. So
Yeah, and didn't question. Excuse me. They didn't question. They done what they were told, and then they expected you to do what you were told.
Yeah. By the way, I saw something recently that like hundreds of congressmen or congresspersons or whatever were treated with ivermectin during the pandemic.
There you go.
So the whole time they were having all these news stories about horse dewormer or whatever the meme was. It's like the elites were using it the whole time, you know.
Well, did you see what happened in England when they were telling everyone they had to, you know, kids were wearing like deep sea diving hats and things, and the Conservative Party footage came out right in the middle of the big COVID explosion of them just having parties, no masks, nothing.
Yeah.
Amazing. I mean, why would they wear masks?
Well, you know, mistakes were made. People are perfect. It's time to just forgive and forget and move on. Let's not keep bringing up. You don't have to dredge up the past, you know. Oh, fuck. Yeah, we ruined your lives. You lost your job. You couldn't see your grandma when she was dying. You couldn't go to her funeral even. You couldn't go to church, but, you know. It's time to move on. It's really insulting. Really just adding insult to injury, honestly. Stephen Campbell sent $10 and says, "Hi, Chris."
Sorry, I was muted. Stephen Campbell?
Yeah, do you know, does that name mean something?
Stephen, you save your $10 for my stream. Try and get that back. If you write to YouTube, they'll refund that. Just tell
it's
him.
Not through YouTube. I'm demonetized.
Hello, Stephen. Good to see you. Good to see you, mate. Well done for supporting my boy LP. Thanks for having me on, son. It's been a real pleasure, as I knew it would be. Great stuff. I don't know how you do what you do. I mean, I rarely use clips in my streams, but the stuff you spend your life wading through, how you remain sane, God knows.
Well, we all have our addictions. Mine is cringe. Yeah. When's your book coming out, Chris?
It was going to be November, but my editor has just had a triple heart bypass. Now he says he's up for the work. Now he's the copy editor, the line editor, and the proofreader. He's the editor. I've been working with him for 2 years. The book's I started it 5 years ago, but he says he's up for it. But here's the problem: if he does it, the arrangement was this was the last hand back. So I give it back to him. He takes an axe to it. It gets published because I trust him. I've built a good relationship with him, but because I don't know what state he's in, am I going to have to get someone else to proofread it after paying him to proofread it? It doesn't sort of make sense. So I'm in a bit of a problem. I mean, I'm not really in a rush. As people who watch my channel know, I've been going on about it for years. But I've got a Substack that's going ridiculously well. So I'm getting writing out. And it's all helping. That's why I don't monetize my Substack, because I want people to come to that so that they will go and buy the novel. So it's soon, very soon. It's done essentially. It just needs editing for the final time.
Good, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And I put a link to Chris's YouTube channel in the description. If people want to check him out, doing live streams all the time. A lot of banter. You got a real community over there. You right?
Yep.
All right, man. Thanks for doing the show. Thanks so much.
No, thank you.
Thanks.
I was about to say thanks for asking, but I asked you.
That's true, you did. No, but it's it's a pleasure, and we'll have to have you back again sometime. And thanks to everybody for watching. Thanks to our sponsor, Noble Gold. And that's the show for today. We'll catch you all on the flip side. Peace out.